Alright, welcome to the Anti-Boredom League 2, Comrades.
We're already bored.
Comrades, welcome. I'm Niall Shannon, and with me is...
I'm Garrett Pullman.
There we go. So right now we're fucking around with the PS3.
Yeah, we're in a new place.
We're in a new place, new environ. We're in Garen's dad's studio. It's really nice, really... I would use the word opulent to describe this
Sure,
place.
yeah, and
but
it's, I'm the heir. Let's make that. I'm the heir.
He's the heir to this fortune, and a doge, if you will. And yeah, so we're just they have a PS3 in the office, and just setting up the system here. But it's more complicated than we thought. So
yeah, so there's 4,000 megabytes out of 55 gigs. What do they have on here?
I told you it's porn. They have a fuckload
Well, I
of
don't
porn.
want to find it, kind of.
I want to see what an office...
See, because, okay, so this folder, so the video folder, it's clearly not video form. Video folder's empty. So let's see, photos, there is no photo folder. Music, there's no music folder. Games, I really doubt it. Oh, hey, alright, so we got 4 game saves. I doubt those are...
So, F1...
60 gigs, yeah, we got F1 2012, it's my dad's favorite.
Oh yeah? Is he a big racing fan?
He is a huge F1 fan.
You know what? F1 is the only, like, Formula 1 racing is the only racing that I, like, appreciate. Like, NASCAR...
It's pretty cool.
Indy 500, I actually kind of give something to.
Yeah, Indy's cool.
But like, NASCAR, fucking hate it so much. But, like, F1 is really, really big in Europe. I remember...
It's huge.
A lot of my friends and my family friends loved Formula 1. They're making a new movie with Chris Hemsworth, who's Thor.
I think I've heard about this movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's him and... I forget who the other guy is. But it's directed by Ron Howard, so that should be pretty good.
Okay, so that entire previous folder added up to maybe 3,000 megs.
That's it, man. That's what it is.
This is 32 megs.
I have no idea.
Yeah, like these are just games. Who is playing Virtua Fighter 5 on this?
I don't know.
That's not a game office people play.
No. Who's also playing Call of Duty 3, the least popular of Call of Duty?
Yeah, it's easily the worst Call of Duty.
Which is a shame because Canada is in it.
Yeah, I know.
Canada and Poland and like.
All right, there's literally nothing on this PS3. I'm so confused.
Maybe try it again. Maybe Dishonored is.
No, man. I went into the system settings. I'm like, how? Like, I went into.
That's very weird.
System settings, and then I went into system information. Look, free space, 4,000 megs out of 55 gigs.
That's really.
Where are these being? Like what? Well, let's keep swapping games until maybe one of these doesn't require a install.
Yeah. See
actually, well,
what?
Well, let's just try deleting all these game saves.
Yeah, I mean, they could just have a little bit.
Because my dad does not use this, so he has a...
You sure you want to delete F1?
He has an F1 2012 and a 2013 season on our PS3 at home, so he's moved on. Pete Fallmacher, as he calls himself.
Okay.
Yeah, he went down to see a race in... there's that one in Texas. There's one American F1 track.
Oh, really?
Yep. And he went down to see it 2 years ago, last year. And got a helmet and got a racing jacket, like
from Michael Schumacher.
No, but anytime. So he built a racing rig in my house.
Really?
Yeah, to racing, like a big wooden. Sorry, those are the sounds of Virtua Fighter 5 that I'm deleting forever.
Is there a volume?
Yeah, there's probably a volume somewhere. But my dad likes the authentic experience, so he built a wooden racing chassis. Clipped in the wheel.
So he has a track in your house?
No. For racing the video game.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I was like, how much money did your dad
clips in a
make?
No.
He fucking built a
in our tiny apartment, he built a track.
Well, I don't know. Oh, that's why I've been to your fucking apartment.
Yeah,
what am I talking about?
It's an apartment.
It's a very nice apartment.
But yeah, so he built that, and he wears a racing jacket every time he plays that game. He just gets into the character.
That's fucking awesome.
It is really awesome.
I
kind of hate it, but I can't begrudge him for it.
No, I don't. I've never met either of your parents, but just from that description alone, I think I would say that your dad has passed his nerdism down to you. Would that be fair to say? Okay.
Yeah. He's nerdier than me in like the worst ways because he just doesn't care anymore.
Well, I think you reach a certain point. I'm already kind of at that stage. I feel like an old man. I feel like I'm 27. I just feel beaten and worn down.
You and my dad would, I think, get along really well. Probably. You guys are very similar. Yeah. Stalling. No, did I ever tell you how I got my name? Like, my dad was such a nerd.
I think you did. It's from
a fantasy book he was reading at the time. So, yeah, no, he's...
Which book is that?
It is the Belgariad.
Belgariad?
Yeah, it's a that's the name of the series. I'm a recurring character.
Is Belisarius in it?
No, Belisarius is not in it.
Okay.
The only characters I know are King Garen and his heir, Garyon, maybe?
Garyon?
Maybe, I think. He's the main character. Garen is actually a background character who never actually appears much. He's just the father. He's the Drogo Baggins.
Okay. Well, Drogo Baggins is kind of important, isn't he? He's Bilbo's father, isn't he?
Frodo's father.
Frodo's father, okay.
Bilbo and Frodo
So
are
Bilbo's
cousins.
son. What? No. What am I talking about?
No.
His brother. Aren't they cousins?
They
or
are
nephews?
Yes.
Nephew and uncle.
Yes. Nephew and uncle.
Okay. Never mind. So if anyone has not killed himself from boredom in this podcast, thank you. Stay on.
If anyone does that, we're failing. It's the whole point of this podcast.
Yeah, it's called the Anti-Boredom League. I'm interested. I'm perpetually worried that everyone's going to find every second of this really boring.
Well, that's their...
But you know what?
Loss.
You know what?
Because this is supremely interesting. We're going to sit here for a while and wait for Dishonored to install. Because this PS3 hasn't... So this is an ancient piece of technology. This PS3 was bought right when the PS3's first hit shelves 10 years ago. Hadn't really been played.
Sorry, the PS3 came out 10 years ago?
I said 10 years ago as a random figure.
Okay, because I was about to be...
Not 10 years ago.
Mind-boggling.
It was a long time ago, though. It was...
2007? Does that seem right?
Before
I
then.
just threw out a...
Before then. They've been out for what, 6, 7, 8 years?
Well, let's narrow it down here. When did it come? What year did it come out?
That's a great question. Oh,
It
when
is
did
a
it
good
come
question.
out? So, after 2001, that's for sure. So, okay, we'll say, I know the GameCube, Xbox, PS2 came, well, PS2 was before, but I know GameCube was around 2001, 2002.
Yeah, because my
That's when that
friend
Space
Cyrus
World
had
was,
one.
where they showed the new Zelda that before the actual GameCube came out.
Right.
And GameCube was out for like 5-6 years, because that was the average console cycle before this.
I want to
extra
say
long one.
2005.
So let's say, so 2005, 2006. Actually, 2006 sounds right for the 360.
Okay.
That sounds...
Oh, for the
Because 360 came out a year earlier than PS3, and I'm pretty sure
and that's
2006
also...
sounds right.
I think in 2007, I remember because I got about a year after Xbox 360 came out, I got the 360 for Christmas and Oblivion.
Well, I was just going to say, I have a copy of Oblivion right here.
Yeah.
It is the Game of the Year edition, though. So
That must be 2007.
So this says 2006.
Really?
But I know...
Oh, no, so yeah, I got a year after it first came out, so it must have been...
I'm going to say that the PS3 came out in 2007.
Okay.
I'm going to say that 2006 is this game,
I will agree with you.
and this game came out earlier. Because 2005, I think, is too early for the 360.
My first Xbox, I had the Red Ring of Death thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So these are 6-year-old consoles, so they're not as old as I thought. But they're old.
Still fairly old, I guess.
They're pretty old. I thought they were older than that, though. So you had one Red Ring of Death?
Yes.
So I had one Red Ring of Death for a 360, which is fairly common. We went through 6 PlayStation 3s. Yeah. I'm like 30% of worldwide PS3 deaths.
How is that?
It was an insane... It was all in the span of maybe 2 months, and it was absolutely insane.
I didn't even know that they did that.
Yeah, well, okay, there is a PS3 analog to the Red Ring of Death. It's called the Yellow Light of Death.
The Yellow Light of
YLOD.
Death. Okay, so before we go on, for the people who don't know about the Red Ring of Death, it's a thing where when you start up an Xbox, you get the green ring around the power button that shows it's on. Sometimes it will go red if it means it's like failed, like system crash, destroyed. So the PS3 had the opposite, which was the
Yellow Light of Death.
Okay.
And I believe they were for different reasons, because the 360's Red Ring of Death was because the 360 shipped with a horrible...
fan, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't know if the fan of the power supply
system or something like that.
Something made that thing really hot and horrible.
I remember that. I remember how fucking hot
it was like, I don't know how they were able to, like, I'm always amazed that thing never got more, like, heat than it did, because it was
just looking at you right
poorly...
just looking at you.
It's a bad piece of consumer electronics when it first came out. But yeah, the Yellow Light of Death was because of something completely different. I think it was because of the Blu-ray drive in the original PS3s could get shot.
Remember Blu-rays?
But it was remember Blu-rays. Remember HD DVDs.
Who still... Does anyone still have Blu-rays? Is that a thing?
I'm not sure if you're joking. That's like the main...
Is it?
Physical media.
Okay.
You go into... If you're buying physical movies, they're on Blu-rays. Blu-ray...
I don't think so.
Yeah, Blu-ray movies are the thing.
Doesn't sound accurate.
All games are on These are all Blu-rays. Both new consoles are Blu-rays. The Xbox One and the PS4. The real question is, do you remember HD DVD?
I do.
Because that was the competitor Blu-ray that lost.
That's rough.
Yeah. Do you remember Blu-rays?
They're still a thing, right?
Yeah.
Still. So DVDs are still a thing. People watch movies, right? Is that the talk?
Poor people watch DVDs.
You say poor people?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you fucking elitist. In your studio, you air your Doge.
What studio? No one can see anything.
This is a studio. We're in a studio right now. Oh, we've already established.
We're in a living room, really.
It does look like... I actually
There's a kitchen right behind us.
Yeah, there's a kitchen. There's a shower in the washroom I didn't know about.
There is?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I even knew about that.
Yeah. So... That's what, when I came in here, I wanted to take off my shoes immediately because I felt like I was in someone's house.
I've never done that in here.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work here.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Wow, it's incredible.
It would
taking
be
your
weird
shoes off
to
here.
do, yeah.
Like
well, there's a nice carpet.
There's a nice carpet, but even the cement is just like,
it's nice.
Good feeling about that.
It's nice cement, Gary.
It is nice cement. It's like polished.
I love this cement.
It's buffed cement. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I imagine the skin of like a...
I'm excited to see what animal you choose, or mythical creature.
No, I wasn't going for an animal. I was thinking
it's a skin of what?
Well, see, I was going for like a titan from like Greek mythology.
Right.
But then I thought like
there's no titans that had stone skin?
They probably don't polish their stone skin. It's probably...
I don't think they had stone skin. I mean, if you said the Colossus of Rhodes, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's accurate. That's a Greek, large, famous statue of the wonders of the world.
Clearly you haven't played God of War.
I have.
Because they're all giant stone creatures in that game. I know that is
not
accurate.
The game is perhaps not the most accurate.
Oh, it's not accurate at all to be...
Well, in a way, it has
it kind of is.
It has
they take artistic liberties with the designs.
I actually really like God of War.
God of War 1 is fantastic.
I know the other ones are dumb, but I
played every single one. I love that series, but like God of War 1, standing back and looking like, that's kind of the best one.
Oh yeah. In terms of like Kratos is like a vaguely nice person.
Yeah.
Or like had some sympathy,
story,
some sort of sympathy
by far
before he murdered every Greek.
3 gets a bit ridiculous. He's kind of just stupidly angry. Did you play 3?
Probably no, I didn't actually. No.
PS3.
Yeah.
3 is fantastic in terms of just like set pieces and the opening. The first like hour of that game is like probably the best hour in the entire series overall. It's so good. You're fighting. You played 2 though, right?
Yeah.
So that one ends after he summons the Titans and you're climbing to
that's
the top.
the thing.
So 3 opens when you're storming Mount Olympus on the back of a Titan.
Yeah, Gaia, yeah.
So you're fighting on like a moving landscape and like you can fall off of it, jump back on it, and there's like other landscapes in the background because the Titans are just things you can walk on. They're like climbing and you can jump to them in craziness.
Yeah.
Poseidon rips out of the ocean on a giant water horse octopus creature. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That was one of the but one of the few titles that really were kind of persuading me to get PS3. That was the ones that were close, and there was something else that was... Heavy Rain was also one of them.
Yeah.
But then I just played it with someone else's house.
Yeah, like, I feel bad for them because like Heavy Rain is a game I would really like, but I rented it back when... Because that game came out when you could still rent games, when that was still a thing that wasn't a retarded thing to do.
And then it went the way of Blu-ray when no one does it anymore.
Yeah, like, I actually found it weird when I just said, yeah, I rented Heavy Rain, that's right. Like, wow, renting feels like a thing you did long ago, but no, I guess it wasn't that long
Back
ago.
in the era of the... I think in 1,000 years they'll call this the Blockbuster era.
Yeah, you think so? Like, that's what archaeologists will remember?
Yeah, be like, this is the
They'll find all
Blockbuster.
these
And well, they'll find all these Blockbusters.
Right.
Like, just...
looted completely.
Yeah, and just these temples of...
These Blockbusters and the TVs hanging in the corners just still looping old Jim Carrey movies.
like, liar, liar.
I just think it's like a temple.
And...
Man, imagine how incredible it would be to be an archaeologist and just stumble across Liar Liar.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Will they still speak English in the future?
We've been speaking English for a pretty long time.
I guess so.
And if anything, the more languages are just becoming English, sadly enough.
Good.
I'm
Good.
so with you.
Okay, there's a statistic I was reading about how about 1,000 languages every week go extinct.
Yeah, so I heard that too. And like, what the fuck?
And the thing is, to me, it's like that sounds really sad, but it's the ones it's the ones where it's like a community in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
In a country has made up something. It's like when you used to make up a language as a kid, but then they just decided to do that for a whole town, and no one else in the whole country speaks it.
So as a counter to that, there's a really cool article I read last week maybe about a new language that just got developed in a small community.
Yeah.
It's like some island community, fairly rural. They speak a very specific dialect only to them, but like this younger generation is speaking a different language than the adults.
Weird.
And they
English or
no, it's called whatever the language is called. This is called that language light.
okay.
It's basically like a it's like street version of that language.
A street
They're
version, a slang.
Well, yeah,
version?
they're like cutting out all the formalities and stuff. Like it's the young people. And they're saying within a generation, no one's going to speak the original root language. It's all just.
That's really interesting, actually.
It is really cool.
It's just you see the development of language in microcosm.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. This is the first time we've seen the actual root of a language, like it actually happening.
That's what happens all the time, and it's like there's a thing in France called the Académie Française, which every year decides which words are not French, and eliminate them from dictionaries and ban stuff on TV that use those words. A lot of them are from like the Tunisian and like Moroccan ex-French colonies, because there's a lot of the Africans from former French colonies who end up living in France, and they introduce a blend of their French and their own language, and those are the words that are typically banned.
Isn't that what Creole is?
That's in Louisiana
and other places.
Yeah,
Haiti, isn't it? Don't they speak Creole in Haiti?
I don't think so. I think it's.
I thought I thought Creole was just a I know in common parlance it refers to a specific language, but I thought like the actual term is just an umbrella term for any combination of languages. I thought that's what.
No,
because I've heard it referenced as
no.
a Creole. Like this is a Creole language.
No, I don't think so. I'm not under the impression that's not the case.
I'm not a language expert, but
I'm not a linguist either.
I feel like I've heard it referenced like that before. Like this is a Creole language. Actually, like I'm pretty sure in that article I read about this new emerging language, they said that they're like, yeah, at first we thought it was a Creole language, but it's not. I think,
yeah, could be.
I think.
I mean, every time I've heard it, it's been
Creole,
referenced to Louisiana. So, but I'm not a linguist or a cunning linguist.
No, you're not a cunning linguist?
Actually, I am a cunning linguist.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But if you're not a linguist at all.
But
you're a cunning linguist.
Yeah. That one's basically for Andrew.
Yeah? The very, very specific call out.
Yeah, so I'm basically making sure that she listens to this podcast now, because I mentioned what she wanted to put in her
You're
profile.
a cunning linguist named Colonel Angus?
What?
You're a cunning linguist named Colonel Angus.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, alright.
Yeah, I'll accept that. So we finally loaded up Dishonored.
The greatest game ever made. I can't even stand by that.
Good.
It's a fantastic game.
I fucking love I love the art direction.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, before we even start, this game looks absolutely beautiful. It looks like an oil painting.
Yeah.
In motion. It is so. I've heard a lot of criticism of like a lot of people that are either just bleh on the art or just like I don't really like it on the internet, which baffles my mind because to me it is so good looking.
Well, this is kind of a topic that we're going to get into, maybe now, maybe later, but people on the internet are fucking assholes.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Like, as a community, the internet is horrendous.
It's a really bad place.
I mean, I recently kind of banned myself, not banned myself, I banned myself from posting links on Reddit. I'm a Redditor, and I've put so many fucking links up that I think are interesting or cute. I subscribe to all the little pictures of kittens.
Yeah. Because sometimes you need that picture.
I do, because I used to go into R gaming and R atheism, but now
R gaming
they fucking have broken me down so much. I'm so bitter. So I needed pictures of kittens, and then I had pictures of kittens and cats and dogs and lizards. I was having a great time, and I had a couple of these pictures. I saw a video of a little baby beaver, which is called a kit. And was drinking milk out of a bottle, like a
sounds so
that sounds like it should be like 10,000 karma on Reddit. I should be like worshipped and like forever in internet history. I get 5 fucking upvotes and like 1 comment, I think, and then there's a picture.
Racket.
There's a picture of my niece London at this bird sanctuary with a little owl, a burrowing owl, like a little tiny owl on her arm. And the owl's just looking at her, like kind of like cocked to the side, like looking curiously, and London's smiling. And it's like, that's a fucking adorable picture. That's a great. And I see pictures like that all the time of like little kids with niece, puppies. Blah, blah. Yeah, I was like, okay, again.
Well, you need a sob story. You need my niece just got out of the hospital.
Yeah, or is dying of cancer. I'm like, sorry, she's a healthy, wonderful child who I love. Sorry that is
a tragedy.
No one's dying in this picture, except my heart.
Yeah. Okay. So, how long have you been a Reddit? Like, how long have you known about Reddit and frequently?
I've been a Redditor for a year. My cake day was July 30th.
So, when you first started going to Reddit, you made an account right away. Like, I've been going to Reddit for maybe 3 years.
I made an account within maybe a week.
Oh, okay, really? Okay.
Like pretty quickly.
So I've been
because I wanted to upvote a lot of stuff as I get to register.
See, so I've never been into the upload download stuff. I just never cared about that.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe just delete my fucking.
I just like all the comments on Reddit are usually pretty funny. So I'm like, whatever. They all.
The comments are funny. The comments
it depends where you go. It depends where you go.
Okay,
it really depends where you go. Gaming, no. Gaming's a There's everything there. Gaming and atheism and world news and politics.
Atheism,
are just fucking shitholes.
I need to get rid of the politics and world politics too.
World news isn't bad.
Yeah, world news isn't bad. But politics is really bad because it's just the same. It's super liberal, and I don't mind that,
politics isn't our politics; it's our liberals.
Yeah, and it's like
or like all our anti-Republicans.
Yeah, basically
really not.
And it's just kind of annoying.
But so yeah, I was a Redditor for like 3 years ago, but I only made an account maybe a year and a half ago, and even then it was only because like there was some topic and I'm like I need to comment on this, and I just made a comment and then like didn't use it again for a long time. And just recently I started like in the last 3 or 4 months I've been commenting fairly regularly. And then it's only been literally in the last week and a half that I'm like, I should start posting some things.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed I'm just slipping further and further into the community there. Like commenting enough now, so now I might as well even. But I found a few things I posted is 0 traffic at all. Like like no upvotes, downvotes for the post.
Yeah.
No comments. I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I can post something on a normal video game website and it will get traffic. I post something here and it's just like.
Yeah. It's just. Okay, well, my friend Mark, he described how Reddit comments works, and it seems so perfect. It's like one person is talking to themselves. The way the kind of community and the way the language of Reddit works, kind of
community encourages unified opinion.
Totally, man. Like it really brutalizes you into like one opinion and one kind of mindset.
Which is not what the internet needs more of.
No,
diversity
definitely.
is something in great demand.
Yeah, and that's where it's just like, well, they did a study in the UK where they actually discovered that it's something like 40% of people are actually nastier on the internet.
Yeah.
because the anonymity, because you can just be anyone. And also because
uninhibition theory or something. I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
there's
something
an
like
actual
that.
Study.
But it's like, yeah, because like even if you say your name, even if you were brave enough to put your whole name out there, or whatever, you lose the face-to-face interaction. Like if I said, "Garen, you're a fucking idiot," it's not true. But if I said that, like there's that instant reaction of your face, and I'm saying it like I could see you being offended, I could see you being whatever. So I would feel bad if I did that. When I'm just on a forum, and I just say this guy fucking sucks or whatever, I don't see his face. I don't see I can just see the words maybe, but I can divorce myself from that because, you know, you don't have to deal with it
that's
right
interesting
away.
That you say like, if you put your full name out there, it still doesn't really make that much of a difference, because there was a trend like a year or so ago where a bunch of places were trying to do that.
Yeah.
I think it was you that said you don't like The Escapist, or even though.
Oh, I know. I don't mind The Escapist, but I admit the only reason I go there is for Yahtzee.
Yeah. I mean, I only go there for Yahtzee and Movie Bob.
Yeah, I only go there for the reviews.
The rest of the site's not all that great. But their comment section, if you ever looked at it, is only Facebook. It's only your Facebook name and your Facebook profile. The comment section is still a Warren wasteland of horrible behavior. It's atrocious.
Yeah.
And that's the first website where I'm like, oh, this doesn't change. Like, I can't believe, Trevor, why are you saying these things?
Trevor, you fucking
look
asshole.
Look at your life, man. Like, what are you saying? It's horrible.
What I'm saying here is fuck Trevor.
Yeah, fuck Trevor. Get your life together.
Get your act together, you asshole.
But do you remember, I don't know, I can't remember if you played WoW or not.
I did.
Okay, so you still get their
I haven't played in years. No, I haven't played in years.
You still get their emails asking you to get back every so often? Oh, no, you don't even get those? Okay.
No, because the account I made it on is like long ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if you heard a while ago, this would be like a year ago now, there's a big kerfuffle in the World of Warcraft community because Blizzard wanted everyone to go real name only.
Really?
Yeah, there was no... Like, obviously not in game. Like, in game, you'd have your game avatar. But on the forums, on the Blizzard forums, where a lot of the community lives, you could not post under your character name, which is how it is.
Right.
You'd have to post under your real name. Never went through because of a ton of backlash, but I don't think it might not have even ended up making a difference.
No, I don't think. I really don't. Because to me, it's the face-to-face stuff.
It's totally...
It's seeing a person's body language, like... Because it's a really tall order to say...
Well, it's like, you can only get so intimidating. Like, if you offend me, the worst I can do is say something to you in all caps.
Right.
Like, if you really offended me, I mean, I might yell and stand up, and my imposing shadow of a figure would move.
Right, yeah.
Like, I would physically intimidate you.
I wet myself, yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, that's not going to happen on the
I've actually just wet myself already.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
I'm scared.
It's a big echoey room. I mean, I can understand the thought. But yeah, I mean, there's just that missing... There's no empathetic connection on the internet.
No, yeah.
So, it sucks.
It does, and it's just... Well, one of the things I guess we were thinking of talking about was...
Yeah, we might as well mention...
I guess, I mean, because, we're just letting...
It's kind of the biggest... It's the biggest thing that... biggest is the wrong word. It's the most important thing, I think, that's happened in the last couple of weeks, at least for me.
In the world of gaming.
In the world of gaming. I'm sure there's many more horrible things. But just in terms of, like... Because it's something... This what we've been talking about is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Just in terms of, like, internet communities being... shitholes of human behavior.
Yeah.
There was an article I was doing a while ago about so on the flip side of the coin, there was a fantastic event that happened in Vancouver a couple months ago. The women, what was it called? The I Am a Gamer Game Jam, which was a game jam that focused on making games with strong female characters, and it was stemmed because females and like queer gender people and minorities are not really that well treated in the gaming industry. It's very male heterosexual focused.
Yeah, giant tits and
So there's this great game jam here that was really successful and was focusing on kind of changing those stereotypes. So I interviewed the girl that put it on, and
I read the article.
Yeah, a friend of hers who is just really into... He's a guy who's just really into those issues. And his prior job, before he became... he runs just a bunch of game community stuff now, but he used to be an online community manager. And so his job was to come into forums that were just like what's the verb for mutiny? Mutinizing? Mutineering?
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Mutineering.
Yeah, they were mutineering basically
mutinous,
against the mods.
Right.
There's this game called Cortex Command that the forums are just a mess, and he was to come in and clean them up. And he did so by laying down the law. But talking to this guy, he hits, if you selfless plug, if you ever want to go read that article, he has some pretty cool stories just about he has one.
Where can you find, what website can you find this?
Oh, you can find this on, it's arcademia.com.
How do you spell that?
You spell that, well, it'd be like academia with an AR at the front, so like an arcade, like arcade with MIA at the end, either way.
Okay.
ARCADEMIA.
And you can read many fine articles from Mr. Garen Fallman, but many others.
Well, right now it's literally actually just me. But
well then,
soon there won't be.
Okay.
Talking to people, we got a roster in the works.
Nice.
But
it's an up and coming website.
Yeah, it's an up and coming website. But I've been writing there for the last couple months, and there's some pretty cool articles that I've been doing there. But anyway, talking to that guy got me thinking a lot more actively about just the game community and how terrible it can be on the internet, because I go to in-person game meetups every month. I go to this thing in Vancouver called Full Indie, which is a game...
Full Indie?
Yeah, Full Indie. It's a game developer indie meetup. So it's all indie developers, and it's fantastic. Like, everyone loves each other. They're all showing each other the games. Not a bad word is said. So like people, and like, you know, if anyone's been to PAX or any gaming convention, like, it's all just like love. Like, everyone, they're all great people and they all like games. But like, to Niall's comment about, you take away the people aspect, and it's just, you can be a great person. You like. We've all been, I've been an asshole on the internet.
Yeah, oh yeah. Same here.
But gaming culture, I think, because of the nature of games, that they live on the internet a lot more than anything else, that it becomes kind of the only thing you hear. Because there's no print magazines for games. There's a lot less, like, you know, there's film festivals where you can go and watch films in a theater with people, but there's a lot less of those kind of things for games. So if you're interacting in the game community, it's online. Like, that's what you're doing. And it's just pessimism. Like, that's just the nature. I don't think it's necessarily his fault, because like I said, I see a lot of positive stuff, but just the nature of it existing online, you just see nothing but anger, complaining, pessimism, and it hurts a lot of, you know, it hurts minorities, it hurts anyone who's not the core demographic of our gaming, or something like that. So
there was someone recently who was like a sacrifice almost to that negativity.
Yeah, so where I'm going with all this, the long-winded explanation of the game community. Phil Fish is a indie game developer who made Fez, which was a very popular indie game, and he is pretty hated generally because he's really outspoken. He's like I personally, I don't really think he's all that bad. Communities seem to not like him very much because he just says, I mean, sure, he says inflammatory things.
Kind of a dick.
I will agree he's a dick, but I don't think he's like a bad. This is good. Like, there's good dicks and there's bad dicks. I don't know. Like,
he's a
dick in the way Bill Maher is a dick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, he's an asshole for like. Because he's passionate about what he's talking about.
He's outspoken, and that will step on people's toes. And sometimes he goes too far.
Yeah, he's not an asshole in the way like Putin is an asshole.
Right, yeah, like a fascist piece of shit.
Like, his heart is in the right place.
Right, okay, yeah.
He's kind of a neurotic dude who just like, you know, he's a smart game designer. Like Fez, if none of you know Fez, I'm not going to get into the game right now, but like, it's a really smartly designed video game. Whether you even like that kind of game or not, like, if you know anything about games, like if you played enough games to pick up on design, like, it's a really smartly designed game.
Okay.
So he's a smart dude. Like, he knows I would listen to his opinions about video games. Whether there's a lot of stuff I disagree with him about, but at least I think he's a guy to listen to. So he has a lot of strong opinions, and like one of the most famous ones is he said like Japanese games suck. He had a lot of smart things to say after that about why Japanese games suck, but no one really cared about that. They just said, hey, you make video games, you can't say that about Japan, but whatever.
Right.
So he said a lot of stuff about that. He's really active on Twitter, calling people out, being a general D-bag, so whatever. He has a part to play in this, that's for sure. He's not an innocent man. Anyway, he gets he gets attacked a lot on Twitter for all this shit, and recently he got in a fight with this dude named Marcus Beer, who is a member of the press, and Marcus Beer called him out on a show about all this shit that Phil Fish is known for, and they got into a fight on Twitter, and then everyone piled on Fish, and he eventually said, I'm out, quitting the games industry, Fez 2 is cancelled, and that's where we sit right now.
Okay. And when was this?
So this was on July 27th.
So
days ago.
Yeah, this weekend. It's the first today, isn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, it's the first today.
Yeah, because it's the second tomorrow.
First today.
Right. Yeah,
so it was like Thursday, Friday, or something.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. And there's been he's not like changed his mind. He hasn't said anything since.
No. So all that's happened since. So he said on Twitter, he's like, "This is my last thing." He put up a screen cap that he was trending on Twitter. He's like, "So long, suckers." That was his last tweet. Locked down his Twitter account unless you were already following him.
Right.
And then today or yesterday, he put up a Vine video on Twitter, and I don't know what it means, but it's two plasticine or clay figures fighting each other, or like they were clumped up in a ball, and then it's a Vine video of them separating into two figures. He's a weird dude.
That's
I don't know if that means anything.
Ominous.
Okay, so do you know anything about Fez though?
No.
Because Fez
besides
like
the town
crazy,
of Morocco and the hat. No.
Okay, no. So Fez is like this crazy platformer adventure game that just like. I'll try and do like a 5-second explanation because I don't want to go into Fez because that game is an entire podcast. Like, that game's,
I'm timing it right now.
That game's fucked.
Right. And go.
Fez is fucked. If you really want the 5 seconds, it's fucked.
It's done.
It's just full of. So if you look, his Twitter has a picture of Andy Kaufman. Clearly, he takes from the dude. He's just all about misdirection and secrets and hidden things and layers. That's what like Fez is all about. Like you think you've beaten the game, no, there's a whole other game. No, everything is not what you thought it was.
So it's kind of experimental and trying to challenge.
Crazy. And Fez was really cool when it first came out because everyone was playing it and everyone was discovering the secrets at the same time. It's like everyone could beat the game, like the normal game, but then there were all these secrets buried underneath that like, oh, there's all these like symbols on the walls and we just thought they were decorative, but no, they actually added up to this huge secret at the end. Like, you beat the game. It's basically like the core game is a platformer, like it's a collectathon platformer. People reach like there's a counter. It's like you have 100% beaten the game. I think the final count now, like what the community has reached, is like 217% done the game.
Oh wow!
And it's like it's actually stopped at some really weird numbers, so people aren't sure if they're actually done. It's like 217 or something. So people are like, have we discovered everything?
Right.
So those are the kind of games Phil Fish plays. So I'm not sure what the hell he's doing. Or if this whole thing is a misdirection, but not going that deep into it, just looking at the facts. Yeah, so that happened a couple days ago, and it's just like, if he's literally left and he's not just being emotional and he won't just come back, I mean, it sucks. He's a super smart game designer. He had a lot of good things to say they went against the R-gaming hive mind. I mean, they were diverse opinions if they might not have been always great opinions. I mean, whatever. Right. They're different opinions, which are what we need, and it feels to me like, well, I mean, it's this fact that no one really, the majority are happy that he's out of the game industry, which is kind of gross, that people are like, yeah, I'm so glad you quit this industry. Like, there's a lot of people just being like good, yeah, like, I'm glad, which I think is a really unhealthy thing to think.
Yeah.
If you love games, like if you are someone who plays games and really want this industry to like be more than it is now, like why would you wish for someone who is being different, whether you agree with them or not, to
I think this whole thing kind of shows how gaming as an industry is on the verge, not quite there yet, of accepting that it's an art form.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because how many times has that ever happened? Can you name one director who has done that? Like who's gotten a lot of negative press feed. The only
George Lucas comes to mind, but he's still around. Yeah,
he's still around, and people like, and he still created so many things after people were negatively. Like when episode 1 came out, it got trashed so badly, but he still came in with 2 more episodes after that.
Yeah,
he wasn't like, I'm out, blah blah blah.
And I bet if he wanted to make another movie. He'd be able to make another movie.
And after that he did the Indiana Jones
he did that too.
The whole trilogy. So the only one I can think of is maybe Kevin Smith. I like Kevin Smith, but he's got a lot of negative.
I thought a lot of people liked him.
A lot of people like him, but a lot of critics fucking hate him.
Oh, really?
A lot of critics fucking hate him.
Well, actually, Kevin Smith is a great example because I hate Kevin Smith.
As a person, or as a...
No, not as well, I mean, I don't really like him, but like I don't hate him as a person. I've listened, because he has a really popular podcast.
I have 2 episodes on my podcast.
Oh, really? Because I don't really like his podcast. He comes off as kind of a really self-centered dude. I don't really like him.
I think he's he seems to be a really nice guy, but he's very self-indulgent.
Yeah, he's very self-indulgent.
Because this, actually the one I was listening to recently was from like last year, and it was with Lisa Kudrow, like Phoebe from Friends.
Yeah.
And she did a show called The Comeback, which is this big HBO thing, but it did really well with critics, but it was cancelled, and they were talking about that.
Yeah.
So it was basically, it should have been about Lisa Kudrow. And he talked about...
how fat he was?
No. But he talked about how much he loved it at a certain point where it's like, okay, just let her fucking talk, please, Kevin. For fuck's sake, she's talking, she's her guest. And like, also he had Stan Lee on, who's done like fucking every conceivable comic ever.
Yeah.
And in his introduction of Stan Lee, it's like 10 minutes of how much he loved, and it's like, dude, just let him talk. He's got the interesting stories.
Yeah.
You're the interviewer. It's just like, I guess considering having both learned this stuff in journalism school, like, you're not the star. Ask the questions. Ask pointed questions. They're the interesting person.
Not a trained interviewer.
I know.
Used to being the star.
I know, but sure.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, but he's done it for years. Surely someone would have been like, can you shut the fuck up?
Yeah, so I can understand why people hate Phil Fish, because as someone who doesn't really care about movies passionately, I casually don't really he annoys me, but I would never wish him out of the industry because
that's the
insane.
Thing. That's the thing.
He's obviously made these landmark movies, so he clearly knows, like, he has an innate understanding of movies.
Yeah.
Like, if I hated him more, like, I don't hate him that much. I don't hate him as much as it seems like people hate Phil Fish. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really have a baseline of hating anyone that much because I'm not a crazy person. But, like, I can't imagine just wishing that to a creative person. Yeah. But I really, I'm an artsy liberal person. So
the thing to me with the arts is that the only people I think who should be forced out are the people who are crooks. Like the people, like the kind of the beast that is EA. I know EA as a company is not, there's good people who work there, but as a beast it just shills out bullshit.
Yeah.
So I wish that it was like, I wish it just kind of got its act together. I don't wish it out. I wish, but the people who just make poor products, that's who I wish out.
Like, if you're looking at it as clearly that, like, Phil Fish and all other indies are not, well, not all other indies. There's a lot of shitty things on phones that are just meant to nickel and dime you to death. But I mean, like he's doing it clearly for the art. I mean, he did not make a huge profit off. Super successful, but I mean, he did not make a huge profit off.
No, yeah.
He made enough to make Fez 2, which he doesn't even be made right now.
Right.
But I mean, no, he's making it because he loves games, and it's really clear. If you, he's featured in Indie Game the Movie, which is a fantastic movie. You don't need to be into games at all to watch it, but I imagine if you're listening to this podcast by now, you are into games because it seems to be what we focus on a lot. But I recommend it to anyone. It's a really great documentary about 3 independent game designers, and Phil Fish is one of them. And he comes off as a very neurotic. He comes off as kind of the most personally, the weirdest. Well, maybe not the weirdest part, but one of the weirdest parts is the fact that he is easily the most like the people that seem to be hating him so much. Like he would fit right in on Art Gaming,
right,
or like NeoGAF or something. Like he is this hateful, spiteful, opinionated, like horrible person. Like
sounds like me. Yeah.
Right. Like he would.
You just said loved. Right.
Yeah, I did say right. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, you very quickly moved on. I just want to catch that before we go on. Anyways, but no, yeah, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I was talking about something, but I can't remember what it was now. If you want to hear more about this, another plug. I did write an article about this on Archidemia. So check that out if you feel like it. Talk about some things a bit more succinctly, a bit more.
If he actually quit the gaming industry, then he's a pussy.
Okay,
if he actually, if he had an emotional moment and was like, I'm really upset, and then said something and then did this stuff, fine. But if like a month later he's not doing anything, or if in the end it turns out he's just gone, then what the fuck, man? This is your dream.
I know, and I've been flip-flopping back and forth because I've been taking in a lot of other people's, opinions on this stuff. And like at first I was like that, like it's, as much as I'm kind of on his side about this, yeah, I mean, stop being a pussy, man. Like,
yeah.
But I've heard a lot of other people, like, there was a great, Patrick Klepek and Alex Navarro from Giant Bomb were having a discussion that they filmed for some reason, talking about this whole Phil Fish thing, and they brought up, like, because they are both pretty big personalities, so they're used to having people shit on them on Twitter and stuff. Mm-hmm. They're saying, like, the stuff that industry people say on Twitter and stuff that, well-known, famous people say on these social media sites that they get flack for or praise for, usually it's not things that they are directing to anyone. Like, usually they are just like, and Phil Fish's comments, they're never to anyone. They're just like, I don't know, Japanese game sucks, or, he said worse things, like, suck my dick, and, ooh, I was nominated for this award, like, everyone sucked my dick, and,
Right.
He says dumb shit, sure. Okay. But, I mean, they're not like, it's not like, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Right, yeah, calling out one specific person.
Whereas, and, like, even if you do manage to, even if you are targeting a group of people, like, even if it's, like, he has said things like, gamers are the worst fucking people, which, not his shining moment.
Well, you know what, though, man? I agree.
There's a truth in there.
I think I fucking agree, because the thing is,
but he's not calling anyone out.
Yeah.
And the flip side of that is when he says something that upsets people, everything is now pointing to him. He is getting not like, oh, game developers, you guys suck. He's getting Phil Fish, go kill yourself. Phil Fish, I hope your wife gets her throat slit. I don't think he's right, but it's shit like that.
Well,
so
okay.
The people on the one side just get this like comment they don't like. He just gets, and some people are better at ignoring them than others, and you can't expect everyone to just be good at just ignoring these things. I mean,
I agree, but
some people just get a bunch of "go kill yourself." If you read that 700 times a day, I'm not going to say that doesn't affect you.
No, it would be stupid to say it doesn't affect you. But the thing is like to leave the industry, to leave the field of your dreams.
Sure.
In a non-Kevin Costner way,
I
to
agree.
like
I agree.
to actually if you. As shitty as the audience of gamers can be, I'd like to say that I would regroup and think about maybe, okay, well, people, even if I have the same opinions, I will be careful about what I say and go forward. And I'm going to give up on it. Like, what is he going to do now? Like,
exactly, no.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, and the thing is as well, like, it shows where gaming is not quite yet an art form, because there's so many shitty musicians and movie stars and artists who are actually just bad people, but we like them because of their art. Like, I mean, fucking Jack Nicholson almost certainly slept with a 14-year-old French girl. Right? And John Lennon used to beat his son and used to say, oh, we should have called you Whiskey Lennon because that's what you were born out of. And he was a fucking evil asshole.
Like, you're saying there's bad people we forgive for their art.
Yeah, and we just go, and I fucking love John Lennon's music. That's some of the greatest music ever, but we don't defend, we overlook it. And it's like, it's just quite not there where we because if we recognize it as an art form, we kind of forgive the artist because they say, oh, well, you made this.
Yeah, well, and to your point, sooner, I think we definitely are then in that transition period of actually respecting games.
We're just on
There's always been a very, very high echelon of elite people, your Shigeru Miyamoto's, your Cliff Bleszinski's, where
that guy is respected.
Cliff Bleszinski?
Wait, is he the guy who made?
He's the CEO
Gears
of Epic
of War?
Games.
Made Gears of War.
And Jazz Jackrabbit, and he's a really amazing, smart.
A lot of people hate Gears of War, and him.
Do a lot of people hate Gears of War?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like my favorite game ever, but I respect the shit out of that game. That's objectively, that's a fantastic game.
Maybe I'm slanted because one of my former roommates fucking hated.
Oh, really?
Him and that game.
I don't know how you can hate Cliff Bleszinski. Okay, well, he's had a very public persona. I mean, I don't know. I don't follow Cliff Bleszinski a ton, but he was known as he's gone through a ton of nicknames because he always wants to be called something really dumb and stupid, like Cliffy B and Dude Huge. He was called for a while. I don't know. he's like he's really outspoken too. But I don't think he's an asshole. He's a really nice guy in all the interviews I've ever read.
Okay.
But he made Jazz Jackrabbit.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
You know what Jazz Jackrabbit is? It's a
Don't-
PC.
Don't pretend that you...
No. This is like, as a PC guy, and as not a PC... Me, as not a PC guy, and as Niall, as a PC guy, I would have thought you would know. Like, that is like...
It sounds vaguely familiar, but isn't that... No, that's Jive.
Jazz
Rabbit.
Jackrabbit is like a...
No, I'm thinking of Jive Rabbit.
2D... It's basically... It's kind of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's a very fast... It's the best Sonic the Hedgehog game ever made. As me, as a Sonic the Hedgehog Apex Predator... Is that the right metaphor? No. Apex
Aficionado?
fan. I wanted to use the word Apex
Okay.
because it sounds
Apex
cool,
works.
but not Predator. Apex
No, Predator.
fan.
Because are you preying on other games?
Not preying on other Sonic fans. I want to be the only
so
one.
you want to kill all of them.
I just want to be the only one.
That's weird.
Yeah. No, I really like Sonic games, but Jazz Jackrabbit was the best Sonic game ever made.
Okay.
You're a rabbit. You go fast for some reason.
Because you're a rabbit?
Well, you're a hedgehog. Like, what the fuck? Speed games don't make sense, apparently.
Well, no, a rabbit makes sense because rabbits are fast.
Yeah, but actually that does make more sense.
A hedgehog doesn't. That's what's so brilliant about it.
That's so brilliant about it.
And then Dr. Robotnik. Well, actually, it's not Dr. Robotnik at the time. It's Dr. Whatever the back. Whatever.
No, it
Robotnik
was
is.
Dr. Robotnik at the time. It was Robotnik first.
No.
Yes.
Okay, it's Robotnik's good version who makes Sonic the Hedgehog.
That is okay. So if you want me to get really Sonic the Hedgehog nerdy,
No.
that is only in the UK produced Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, where was I
comic
from?
Book.
United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Son.
Oh, yeah, you were. Yeah, you were.
So I had
yeah.
a Mega Drive, not a Genesis.
Oh, you did have a Mega Drive.
It was red.
Fucked.
It had red power buttons, and then in everywhere else it was the Genesis, which had white.
So as a kid, the Genesis was my first console ever,
Mhm.
and as a kid, I went to I rented a lot of Genesis games, and I rented this copy of Afterburner 2 multiple times, but it was a Mega Drive. It was in a Mega Drive box, and I didn't know what that was, and I didn't understand
That's very weird.
why it was just what it. Why
What is a Mega Drive?
Those words just didn't make sense, and I was like, "Why is this on my Genesis box?"
You know what needs to come back? Mega as a word. Like as
Mega
a
and
prefix.
Super,
Yeah.
all those things are great. Mega's really good.
I still use Super,
Well, I mean, it still comes up
But-
in like Street Fighter. They just released Super Street Fighter Ultra.
but who plays?
A lot of people.
No, they don't. Garen, trust me, I know games.
Sure.
I know about Jive,
I just
Rabbit,
wanna,
and the Max.
Gotta get a Mega Drive or a Genesis in your car. I hate reading about the Well, I don't hate it, but it's reading about the Genesis Mega Drive these days, like on the internet and stuff. It's like the Mega Drive clearly won out because I guess it was only called the Genesis in North America.
Yeah,
Literally everywhere else was the Mega Drive.
it's like soccer versus football.
Yeah, it's like soccer versus football.
Everywhere besides North America calls it football.
What name do you objectively? I know, I have my attachment to Genesis. You would have your attachment to Mega Drive. But what name do you actually think is better?
Mega Drive.
I think the Genesis is better. I think it rolls off the tongue better.
No,
Genesis.
Mega Drive.
All right,
Drive.
cool. Yeah, all right.
Done.
We're at an impasse.
No, Mega Drive is way better.
No, Mega Drive is too.
Genesis is also a book in the Bible.
Also,
Boring.
the Mega Drive, the drive.
Yeah, the power drive. It's mega powered.
It sounds
so-
like a good futuristic form of energy.
Oh yeah, sorry, that sounds stupid. A futuristic form of energy that transforms the universe like a Mega Drive. What the fuck is
It's just
Genesis
a
just means
16-bit console. It's not a.
well, it's about ambition. It's trying to
The Genesis is so cool. I don't know. I probably just can't get the nostalgia out of my head. It will never the Mega Drive is wrong. It's not what it's called. So I'll never.
You're wrong.
I'll never be able to call it anything else. The
90% of the world agrees with me.
But the Genesis had the cool red striped box art.
Yeah, but
The Genesis / Mega Drive is the greatest console of all time.
No, it isn't.
No, the N64 is, but the Genesis is. The Genesis, non-jokingly, does have the best synthesizer sound chip in it. The bass on a Mega Drive, it's some Mitsubishi sound chip. The bass on a Mega Drive is out of control.
Yeah.
You must recall. Do you not recall?
I don't recall the bass because I'm not a fucking nerd like that.
No, man, the bass sounds on a Mega Drive were insane.
Why the fuck would I remember the bass on a video game? That's crazy.
You're crazy.
Okay, dude, I guarantee you, people do not remember the bass.
Dude, no one. People know the.
They might remember the music. They remember the characters in the game. They won't remember the bass.
I'm not talking about a specific video game. Okay, like because consoles back then, like nowadays, you just put in an MP3 that you recorded anywhere. You know, like an orchestra recording your game soundtrack. Like back then, you wrote a game soundtrack. You had to it used the instrumentation of the specific console. So even if there was a multi-platform game, like say. This is an obscure example, but it's the only one I can think of for some reason. The Power Rangers, the movie, the video game, was on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis.
Power Rangers, the movie, the video game.
Yeah,
that's the most unwieldy title ever.
It is a fantastic video game. It's basically Final Fight, but better because you can use all the crazy weapons and get into your Zords and punch shit. It's a great game. It has a fantastic soundtrack. So, you know, it's the exact same soundtrack, but the Super Genesis, wow, that sounds really cool. The Super Nintendo version uses the Super Nintendo instruments, the Genesis version uses the Genesis instrument. They have different sound chips.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is that
bass.
I fucking guarantee that no one remembers the instrumentation.
They totally do. You're insane.
No.
There are people that...
Other weird nerds like you, but the average person...
What kind of podcast is this?
It is for, well...
The Super Nintendo
it's weird
was better
because
for some
I
things.
think I'm a nerd, but this is the nerdiest conversation.
Well, I also really like music. Like, I was really into music for a long time, so maybe I'm a bit more attuned to this.
I think you should recognize that maybe not everyone has the same...
I've been on internet forums that get deep about the Mitsubishi Shell
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some obscure fucking random...
There are other people.
I'm sure there's around the world. It's like 17 people around the world. But the average person who will listen to...
chiptune music's coming back.
What?
Chiptune music is coming back.
What is it called?
Chiptune music.
Chiptune?
Yeah, chiptune. Like music that emulates the sounds of 16-bit or 8-bit consoles. Like Anamanaguchi, they just played here in Vancouver.
Well, who the fuck is Anamanaguchi?
They,
That's not a real band.
Yeah, they wrote the soundtrack. They did the soundtrack for that Scott Pilgrim movie.
Well, fuck Scott Pilgrim as well.
Yeah, did you like that movie? Because I
didn't even bother to watch it.
I didn't like the movie.
Because I saw the trailer and I hated every second of it.
I wish I did like the movie, but I didn't. And
I like Edgar Wright.
Like the movie at all. I want to read the comics. They look better.
Yeah.
No, you're just not going to let me?
No, I refuse. If I ever see
Why?
Scott,
what do you have against it?
I'm so sick of nostalgia. I'm so sick of
sure, like I agree with you to an extent, but there's a place for it still.
No, there's definitely a place, but the place is now everywhere.
Yeah.
The culture is saturated with nostalgia, and that's the thing where it's like, hey, you know what? I played the N64 that we have at our house, and it is fun to play some of those old games.
It is.
But then there's those times where it's like, wow, this is fucking impossible.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, I don't miss this part of gaming.
Oh, 90% of everything from the past is more just like, I can totally understand, like, I mean, especially gaming. Like, you can see why it was good back then, but, oh yeah, a lot of it's, like, 90% of NES games are completely impenetrable nowadays. Like, you can't play them.
Yeah.
And it's especially true for gaming. It's just like, fuck this.
I was playing Duke Nukem with my roommate, and we were in the prison where you wake up after being like electrocuted or whatever.
This is Duke Nukem 3D?
Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah. There's Duke Nukem 3D port onto N64. So we were playing it, and
sounds horrible.
It was horrible. It was horrific. I remember I was like, I used to fucking love this game. This is awful. And we were stuck at this one point where it's like, how the fuck do we move on? And then only after literally an hour did we find a hidden wall behind a poster. And then I remember that all the time in those games, you would have to you would just go into a room and lean against a wall and go down a wall hoping to find a secret. And that's something you don't have anymore.
There are they didn't
for good reason
very much. There are games that hold up, and there's
Garen, that's horseshit.
Diamonds. Oh no,
Garen, I wasted an hour of my life.
No, not Duke Nukem 3D. But I played Doom for the first time in my life last year. Played the entire thing. That game's fan-fucking-tastic from start to finish. Loved it. Honestly, one of my favorite shooters of all times.
Right.
I'm not a huge shooter fan, but Doom was fantastic. Loved it. So there are games that hold up. But most games, when you go back, I love going back and playing old games. Obviously, probably not finishing them most of the time because they're fucking crazy. But I do like going back for academic purposes, just seeing it was game design like in 1998, because games evolve so much faster than anything else.
Right.
Like literally a game, even a game like 6 years ago is completely different than the game now. Like,
that's true.
there's so many things. Like, like it's so weird. Like Killzone is not the most played franchise of all time, and I don't even I hate those games. But I was at a friend's house. He had Killzone 1, which is a PlayStation 2 console shooter before Halo came out. And it is insane to think, like the PlayStation 2, you think any game on that thing would be modern enough that it would not be that difficult to pick and play. It's crazy, we forget that before Halo came out on the consoles, like no one knew how to fucking do console shooters. Killzone 1 is a fucking mess. And it's like, if you remember, like, you ever played Medal of Honor on the PlayStation 1?
Oh, yeah.
It's literally unevolved from that, where you move the reticle on the screen freely around. Like, it's not locked to the center and your whole view shifts.
Right.
You hold a button and like lock and the reticle moves, and it's fucked. It's like, this is how, and it seems so obvious now, and it's just like, yeah, and the further back you go, you're just like, how these things are so obvious. Like, take that menu out, like, just like, it seems so obvious, but it's just like, yeah, games are weird in that way. But yeah, you want to jump into some Dishonored?
You can play.
Well,
because
yeah.
if I play it, I will go crazy.
So, tell me. So this game seems like it would be right up your alley. I would love
I
to
thought
know
so. I pre-ordered it. I was excited for it
because I think you like the games that this game is inspired by a lot more than I do. Probably because I haven't really played many of them. But like this game.
What would you say is inspired?
So this
by
game is made by Arcade Studios, who made Arx Fatalis, which is pretty. I don't think either of us have played Arx Fatalis, but. That's their only other game, I think, before this. But the people who made... Or no, they did make another game. Whatever. They didn't make huge games before this. But the people who make up Arcane Studios have come from Looking Glass. They've come from Eidos. They worked on Deus Ex. They worked on System Shock 2. These pillars of old, like, PC action RPG first-person shooter hybrids.
Yeah, and
which
that's
is what Dishonored is a clear descendant from.
Yeah, and that's what I tried.
Oh, it is a fantastic game.
You know, I was fucking so excited for this game, and just playing it, I just immediately, well, not immediately, I just started to hate it a lot because, okay, well, first of all, I find the combat controls are really just awful. I find them just really sticky, almost like really hard to get into and not really natural. And it actually kind of made me hate. It completely made me hate silent protagonists.
Oh yeah. No, there are problems with this game. Okay, so oddly enough for me, as someone who usually cares about the story and all that, like the setting way more than the gameplay, this game is completely, I think the gameplay is just like totally perfect, and the setting is really awesome. I love the setting of this game, but yeah, I hate, like, all the characters are terrible. The voice acting is some of the worst I've ever heard.
It is really
Which
bad,
is
yeah.
funny, because this game uses all celebrity voice acting.
That's the problem.
Oh, no, it is the problem. People,
Because-
they don't understand.
No,
Like,
because-
don't go get celebrity voice actors.
Yeah, because most of the time they just view it as some dumb kid
Yeah, they
or
don't.
whatever.
They don't. Right.
Yeah, they
this
just
game
think
is fucking atrocious voice acting, atrocious story. Oh,
Yeah.
no, atrocious story, but it's not great.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
I knew everyone's going to be.
Protagonist should die. I hate silent protagonists.
And it's weird
Don't
because
get started.
I can forgive Half-Life 2 for that, which is
I
weird.
can't.
I don't know why. I think it's because I love Half-Life 2 so much.
Yeah.
And Half-Life in general, that I kind of forgive Gordon Freeman.
Yeah.
But I would rather he talk.
What is up with this frame rate? I can tell you right now, this is not the usual frame rate.
Well, probably because there's very little memory left, I assume.
Maybe that, or maybe it's just the old PS3. I don't know. This game is running like shit.
Could be.
Also, it feels like there's a ton of controller lag.
Weird.
This all feels. It was not long ago I played this game. This all feels very off, but maybe it's just because we're in a cinematic. Wow, this looks like shit right now. Anyway, yeah, it's funny you say that about the controls and the gameplay, because
I just couldn't get into it. Like,
I mean, I play a lot of stealth games. I really like stealth games. And like, yeah,
same
usually
here,
they
like-
don't have the best controls. I thought the controls in this one were great.
I found the
found
stealth
it-
mechanic was fucking awful.
Oh, I found it was
There's
really
so many
great.
times where I just was like, really? How did you spawn me?
Really,
Like,
I thought it was so clear. I thought it was so easy to I thought it just communicated everything super, super clearly to you. I thought when you got, like, it was one of the few games where when I got seen, I didn't feel like it was, like, I didn't feel like I was getting cheated by the game, and I also didn't feel like it was unviable for me to fight. Like, I thought the controls for fighting when you were seen were totally fun and easy. Like, shooting and sword fighting,
we
I
have
thought
such
was a great
an
system.
opposite experience, I guess, because like
Yeah, that's so weird.
like a complete opposite for me.
Well, I'm glad this isn't a video podcast. This game's running like shit, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
This is not indicative, but I guess I can just keep it up because it doesn't even matter.
You know, I would like to hear an advocate for silent protagonists.
Oh fuck! I mean, okay, so I've actually finish it.
Well, I was just gonna say because they don't. It's a weird phenomenon to games. It's a specific game thing that I just don't get. Like, you don't see in movies, you don't see in anything else where like there's a protagonist who does not speak. Yeah. But yet everyone interacts with them as if they do speak. That's what's weird. They talk to them expecting an answer, expecting something, but there's nothing, and it's really weird. And it's just you don't have a character if you can't. Well, okay, what makes it weird is that because they're not mute and people are talking to them expecting an answer, it makes the character have no actual character. If they were mute and people acted like that, he has
no agency.
Yeah, exactly, agency, and agency is what gaming should be known for.
Okay, so
of any medium,
I have a few like conflicting opinions about this. I flip-flopped in my life about how I feel about this because, like, okay, so Silent Protagonist come. This is my backyard.
Enter stealth mode.
My backyard history here.
Okay.
That I'm going to say that it came from JRPGs. Well, I mean, really, it came from just all video games.
So Japanese role-playing games.
But I mean, once we had text dialogue in like the 16-bit era, like main characters still didn't speak, and I think it worked okay then. Like, God, I can't read any of this text. I'm sitting too far away. I'm playing hide and go seek in this game. I forgot what I was doing. I thought I was hunting for her.
No.
So, like, yeah, if you ever played, like, Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger,
never played any.
Great games. But they're silent protagonists,
right.
Or at least Chrono Trigger is. Everyone else talks, and I've had this thought about this era of gaming a lot. Where, like, I'd love some games. This is kind of a tangent, but I'd love some games to bring back text-based dialogue.
Well, yeah.
There's something lost in everything being voice acted.
Yeah.
There's a lot more. Like, I love one of the great things about reading is you hear the characters in your head, and a lot of game voice acting sucks.
Yeah.
It'd be great. Like, my voice acting in my head is way better.
Well,
I'd love it if I could just...
and a lot of time. Well, now the trendy thing is to get celebrities to do it because there's enough profile for games.
And then Dishonored's a fucking fantastic example of why that's terrible.
Yeah. So many. And well, the thing to me about good text-based things is that information-wise, you can also just process it more. Because sometimes someone will say something and you're like, oh wait, what did they say?
Yeah.
And you can't go back. You can't. You have to just follow along with what people are saying.
But so back then, when you have text-based, it's a bit... It flows differently when you have a silent protagonist when it's text-based. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot more... Also, games of that, they're just so... I like to use the word representative because everything is so abstract. Like, the character models are big compared to the world around them. The battles are turn-based. You don't see really the actions. Like, everything's very representative of the reality, right? Like, this weird abstraction. Okay. So if the main character's not speaking but everyone's responding to him in text, it's not as jarring as if he's silent and everyone else is speaking with a voice, right? Like, you can fill in the blanks yourself and assume what he's saying, and it also gives you, the human player, a bit more of a feeling like you are that character. Like, they didn't actually write his dialogue because I am, like, I'll put my own thoughts there.
I guess so.
And I think that's what they're always going for with the silent protagonist. And one of the games I think it does work well is Skyrim, because that game doesn't really have there's no your character. Where it doesn't work is where your character is meant to be a character.
Yeah.
Skyrim, you're not a character. You're just a window to the world. You're like no one. There's like no one Yeah, you can get married, but I mean, there's
Which
no,
is a shame because
character interactions.
Yeah, because there's so many
you.
times where you're like the archmage of the college, and someone walk by and be like,
yeah, it is one of the weakest part of that game.
It's so frustrating.
Like, you know, your character doesn't make friends. He doesn't have like a posse of friends or anything.
No.
So it's a bit different, but yeah. Other than that old style of JRPGs. I don't like it. Yeah, it's horrible in modern games. It doesn't work with voice acting. It totally is the worst, jarring thing he's a character, like he's supposed to have a personality. Like in the instruction manual for this game, they give Corvo, who's the main character, like they give him this write-up as if he's supposed to. They give him personality and stuff. And, it doesn't matter in the game. Like he doesn't. And once your character's silent, he can't. He literally can't do anything. Because there's nothing he can do to affect change in the world other than kill people. Like you can't. You've taken away all of his development, and it just makes the story shitty. There's only so much you can do with it after that. And
it would be interesting if they made him mute on purpose, he was a mute.
If his character was mute.
Yeah, and then it'd be like, well, that would be quite interesting.
But then that would really only work as a gimmick once.
Well, yeah.
But then on the other hand, I used to think it's kind of cool because it is something that only games have, right? And I've always felt like there must be something cool we can do with that, the fact that the characters, that silent protagonists, do work in some capacity in games. There must be something cool that can happen there, but I've never seen anyone do it. Except like I said, Skyrim is okay only because that game doesn't have a plot.
Right.
I don't know. Yes, it does, but Skyrim is more of just it has a fantastic lore. That game has lore. It does not have a plot.
Yeah.
Grizzly.
The Empress has just been assassinated.
Yeah.
Good, I hated her.
Didn't really get to know her.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't give a
So
fuck
the
about
DLC
anyone.
that just came out, that I said, so that guy that we just saw stab the Empress is a major character in this game. I don't know how far you got.
I read to the end to see what the fuck happened.
Oh, you did play to the end? Okay.
I didn't play to the end. I read.
Oh, you read.
I just looked at Wikipedia. I was like, I can't be bothered with this.
The assassin that kills the Empress, Dowd, he is voiced by Michael Madsen, who you may know as But
Michael Madsen from...
Yeah, he's a famous role in Reservoir Dogs is the guy that cuts the ear off.
Yeah, Mr. White.
I have nothing but respect for him. I know he's a great actor. He puts in a fucking atrocious performance.
Yeah.
As Dowd in this game.
Yeah.
He's the main character of the DLC. And it's just... He is... I would wish I didn't have to say this about Michael Madsen. He's the worst part of the entire experience. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And it's clearly because, I don't know, he's probably 60 to 70 now.
He's not 70
Is he not
years
that old?
old. Michael Madsen?
I don't know, he
From
seemed pretty
Pulp
old.
Fiction?
He seemed pretty old in Reservoir Dogs.
What? He's
Right.
in his
I'd say
20s.
60.
He was in his 20s.
Oh, was he in his 20s? Alright.
Dogs.
Forget everything I
He's
said.
about as old as Quentin Tarantino.
Actually, yeah, he probably is as old. But
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Still, he'd be in 40s.
Well, at least. Yeah, okay.
He probably... I'm going to wager he doesn't understand what video games are and probably thinks they are stupid.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, that's the thing about most celebrity voice acting, is that they probably just they don't really know or ever play video games.
Yeah.
So and video game acting, they just don't.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different kind of acting.
Yeah.
Which is why, okay, so you get... I'm happy about this, but voice actors have been starting to get more recognition. And it's a completely different craft. Troy Baker is the big voice actor these days. He's the new Nolan North.
Who's Nolan North?
Nolan North? He's the guy that voices... the big thing is he voices everyone. He's in every game.
Well, that's Jessica Hale.
So that's the female Nolan North. Nolan North, he voiced Nathan Drake was the big breakout.
Okay.
He's Nathan Drake. He's a really great voice actor, but he's in every game.
Okay.
He's Nathan Drake. He's Desmond from Assassin's Creed. He's the main character from Spec Ops: The Line. He's the Penguin from Arkham City. He's a ton of other roles. He's been in hundreds of things.
Okay.
He's a really great voice actor. He's got great versatility. He can be the Penguin is a completely different voice than Nathan Drake. But so Troy Baker is in two of the biggest games of the year. He's Booker DeWitt in BioShock Infinite, and he is Joel in The Last of Us, which are I'd say 2 of the biggest games of the year so far, if not like literally the 2 biggest games that have come out so far this year.
Right.
And he plays the lead character in both those games, and they are completely different characters. I didn't even know it was him. Like I played Battleship at first, didn't even know it was him in Last of Us, so I finished that game and saw the credits.
Unlock the door.
It was like crazy. Well, let's tell the story.
No, I was hearing you, but I was just getting frustrated the way you just were banging into a door.
Sorry. Well, it's hard to play and talk, so I was like, I should get that story.
You're doing well last time in Banjo-Kazooie.
I was doing well last time, but I've only played this
Failed
game once.
me, Darren.
And I've played.
Is it because the game sucks and you can't do it?
Played Banjo-Kazooie since like 1998. Played this game since like last year.
Let's talk about Russians.
Sure, let's talk about Russians.
What is your favorite vodka?
What's going on in Russia? What's my favorite kind of vodka? So, well, you want to just start off talking about alcohol, and then we can go into vodka, and then go into Russia?
Well, okay, fine, let's talk about alcohol.
Because I don't like vodka, so that would end that discussion.
Okay, so I don't like vodka either, so
cool. So,
great.
like, I really like, well, we both really like whiskey.
Yep, I like whiskey.
So, like, when did you know you didn't like vodka? Because I have a very, like, I know. The day haunts me. It's like when Frodo was stabbed on Weathertop. Like every time that day comes around, I just get an ache in my shoulder.
I don't have a specific
We're gonna
thing.
go for an all-kill run.
Oh,
I just got fucking seen.
Yeah, see, exactly. This game sucks.
No, because he was there. It was my fault. I wasn't paying attention. The sensitivity's so high.
This game is so terrible.
This game's fucking awesome.
It's so awful.
You have a minority opinion.
Yeah, I realize, but sometimes minorities are right.
No, I hope you
like
quit
Nelson
like Bill
Mandela.
Fish.
Like Nelson Mandela. Okay, he rose up and saved Africa from the Nazis.
Yeah, whatever.
You just said yes to that.
I said yes, whatever. Like, sure, he did that, but that doesn't absolve you of your sins.
But he didn't do that. Nelson Mandela did not defeat the Nazis. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, did you say defeat the Nazis?
Yes.
Sorry,
Fuck's sake.
I'm trying to stay alive.
You're too busy trying to play this shitty game.
Coolridge Prison. Coldridge Prison?
Coldridge
Prison.
What a stupid name
Whatever.
for a stupid
besides
game.
the plot of this game, the setting is really, really cool.
We're going back to Russia. I refuse to talk about this game anymore.
It's steampunk, it's whaling, it's nautical. I love nautical themes.
An hour and a half of talking about video games.
All right.
We're talking
this
about.
Game has whales in it.
I do like whales. Anyways,
I really like whales.
The country and the animal too. Anyways, okay, I don't have a specific memory of hating vodka, but I have tried it. I tried it a lot when I was beginning to drink when I was like 16, 17.
What were you drinking? When you were, like, what did you start on? What was your choice?
Okay, well, there's a period of my life where I drank Fireball whiskey.
Oh, same here.
And that's actually how I got into whiskey, but that was the first time I made some awful mistakes on Fireball. And I actually cannot drink it anymore.
Oh, really?
It's one of those drinks that I have a horrible memory associated with, and every time I think about it now, it just makes me cringe. So, yeah, there's that. But vodka, I tried it, and it just has no taste. It just tastes like burning. It just tastes like fire.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy the
pure alcohol.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know who made this? Peasants in shitty Russia.
Yeah, that had like literally their only
they just had
from
fucking
the
potatoes
of life.
Yeah, it's like if they could make rocket fuel, they would have that. But what was I drinking when I was 7? What was I drinking? Cider, a lot of cider. Lagers.
Some combat's fun.
Oh, it's terrible. You suck.
Classic rebuttal.
Yeah. Well,
the cycle continues.
Yeah, you didn't come at anything better, so in a way, I win. Yeah. So, what were you drinking?
Fireball. So I started on Fireball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, my first drinks were on something else, but I mean, first thing anyone who knows me as the Fireball guy, or knew me as the Fireball guy. Like, in high school, once I drank Fireball once, all I drank was Fireball. It was dumb.
It's such a bad drink.
Yeah, like, it was pretty dumb. I like it now because, like, I know it's a bad drink, and, like, it's, like, whatever, I drink it because...
You still drink it?
No, I don't. No, I do not drink it.
Okay, good.
But if someone has Fireball and they jokingly offer me some Fireball for old time's sake, as they say,
Right.
I
You'll
laugh
take
when I
it?
drink some Fireball because whatever,
You're
it's
a
dumb.
You're a monster.
But no, like Fireball's a terrible drink. But I drank it back in the day, like you did. Whatever. I think it tastes okay, and it's an okay way to start drinking whiskey because it's flavored and whatever. And,
Yeah, well, it's basically cinnamon hearts.
yeah,
as a
cinnamon
drink.
hearts, and I like cinnamon hearts. So
I do too. I just don't want to drink them anymore. I don't want to drink the fermented cinnamon hearts.
but so my vodka experience was so. To be fair to vodka lovers, it probably wasn't all the vodka's fault. There was a lot of Fireball before.
It was.
This darkness is.
It's because it's a shitty game.
No, it's because the TV is really dark.
No.
I can't see what's going on.
Don't blame the TV.
Turn the brightness up.
It's a very fancy TV.
I was drinking a lot of Fireball before.
Hmm.
And then, like a lot of Fireball.
Right.
Probably a whole bottle.
How much of a lot?
How much of a lot?
Yeah.
Like I'd say 90%.
But would
of a
you
lot.
say like a lot though?
I would
like
say
a lot of
like I had probably a Mickey.
Like a
Fireball?
lot though. You have a lot of Fireball.
I had a lot of Fireball. I had a single, maybe two lots.
Two lots.
2 whole lots of Fireball.
Is that imperial or metric?
A lot sounds imperial.
Yeah.
That just, it's like a plot. I had a plot of Fireball.
An acre.
Not an acre
A
of
hectare.
Fireball. No, I had there. You were
So you had a fuckload of Fireball.
I was drunk,
Right.
and then someone said, "Would you like to get more drunk?"
Someone said, "Would you like to get more drunk?"
more aggressive words. I said,
Would you like to get more fucking drunk?
I said, yeah, probably something like that.
You said like that?
Probably, I don't know.
How did you say it?
In a Fireball.
How did you say it?
I said yes. I said yes, sir.
You didn't sound like
Get me another plot.
How did you sound?
He said,
Say it as you said before.
I said, yeah,
No, louder.
yeah.
I can't hear you.
No.
Can't fucking hear you, Garrett.
Who are you? The captain from SpongeBob?
What?
I don't know. Sorry.
I've never seen SpongeBob.
Oh, that's a shame.
You
Anyway.
know why? Because I'm
Oh, that's too bright.
Because
Look at
I'm
that.
an adult.
Sepia toned. Look at that.
sepia.
Did you see the color on the TV right
Yeah,
now?
sepia.
Is it sepia? I don't think I've ever heard it said. Sepia toned?
Yeah.
That sounds dumb.
Oh, sepia sounds right.
Yeah, it does. Neither of them sound right because I've only heard the word to refer to sepia tone. I mean, it's not like. Why
So
is
you
this
were
a terrible TV?
So
Why is it all green?
basically, your vodka story is that you were drunk and then you drank
Okay,
more vodka.
no. Okay,
That's not a fucking story.
no. It continues.
Tell me
This is okay. This is not the first time I've had like that much to drink though. Like, plenty of times I've had that much Fireball in that same summer. Like,
Okay.
I drank heavily that summer.
Okay.
That was a
So you were an alcoholic in the
that was a
summer.
high school to no. I don't recommend for children. It was bad.
Okay.
I drank a lot of Fireball.
Right.
I don't know why. I just did.
I get that you drink a lot of Fireball. What is happening with this vodka?
So then the vodka came out,
Mm-hmm.
and someone just gave me the vodka, and I just drank it because you were at that level of drank, that level of drunk where you didn't care, you just drank it, and I
Okay.
just pounded it down.
So,
It wasn't Fireball.
right.
And I got really sick. I didn't throw up or anything,
Okay.
but I just felt so. I just remember just sitting in my friend's bathroom on the edge of the tub, just holding my head in my hands, like I had just killed someone for the first time.
Mm.
Just regretting every decision I made, and I tried to get up and move a couple times, and just sat back down, and was just like, "Oh God, kill me now!" And I was so maybe the worst hangover. I don't usually get hungover, and I had maybe the worst hangover I ever had that day or the next day. It was just so bad.
So basically, in that story,
It wasn't
you
really
had-
nothing really horrible happened.
you had
specifically.
Fireball, and then you had a lot of whiskey.
No, and then I had a lot of vodka.
Oh, so yeah, God. Now I'm drunk.
A lot of
vodka.
talking about vodka. But yeah, so I've had it a couple times since. like not mixing it with other things,
Mm.
and it basically had the same fucking effect. Like it's terrible.
There's a guy right there.
Yeah, I know. It's fun hiding.
But you're not crouching.
Well, whatever. You can't. It's okay. But yeah, every time I've had vodka, it makes me want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's pretty much my experience. That
so gross.
it's just
Like it doesn't give you
There's
that
no
alcohol.
flavor,
It
there's
doesn't
no-
give you that alcohol. Like I don't know. I drink whiskey, and sure, whiskey can be harsh sometimes, but it gives you like a nice like warm. There's a warmth to it. There's there's something to taste.
Mhm.
There's a good feeling that happens like in your throat and in your stomach.
Yeah.
Vodka is like it's like fucking drinking this disgusting like nuclear waste.
yeah,
It's so gross. Like it makes me want to vomit.
yeah,
Like nothing else does.
yeah. Is that guy juggling?
Let's find out.
Well, no, it's not. It looked like before he's juggling.
See, now I'm going to sneak through here. Yeah, it does look like he's juggling. You're right.
Yeah. Let's see Snake. See how awesome the snake mechanics are.
Well, the mechanics are just skill.
No.
Okay.
Oh no!
Scene. See, no, but that's all it means. It's all the
Scene.
When you get seen, that's not the game's fault.
It is the game's
That's
fault.
my fault for not observing the corners well enough.
It's because they have a dumb lean mechanic.
No, the lean mechanic's great.
No, it
Oh,
is
fuck.
good, but they haven't done it properly.
No, because you can't get seen when you lean. No, I didn't observe. And you get the dark eye, the dark void power, where you can see people through walls. That is the sneak mechanic. You get that and blink.
Those are the only two powers that are worth anything.
Seriously, those two powers. Like, no, you get way more powers, but like those,
I know, but those are the only two that you use.
Those are the cornerstone of the game's stealth mechanics. Are blink.
Cornerstone, aka the only ones actually worth a damn.
That's simplicity is best, my friend. Wait, you don't need 40.
Then why did
40
you add
stealth.
40 fucking...
Well, the other ones are useful too.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they
None
are.
of them.
The other ones are great.
No.
But I mean, like the cornerstone of this game is blink and it's blink really. It's great. Freezes time.
Yeah, I know.
As you teleport.
Yeah.
That's like what all the encounters are based around, and it's really cool. And if you use it right, you don't play it like a shmup.
What the fuck is a shmup?
I don't know. It sounds like an insult. Is it an insult?
No.
It sounds like something Brits would say.
Oh, again, you're seeing.
This is
surprising.
I'm playing terribly right now.
Yeah,
What
sure.
I should have done is thrown the bottle through the guy's window, but instead, I tried to walk around the window. The Hound pits. Scudder versus Blackie. Wager on the most vicious hounds in the city as they rend one another by jaw and fang. Come to the pub known for the best ales and the freshest blood ox stew.
Anyways, back to Russians.
Back to Russia. So, yeah, vodka sucks. So what else sucks about Russia?
The fact that they are passing, well, they've passed anti-gay legislation. Russia's fucked up, man.
So,
It's a fucked up country.
I feel, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
maybe it's a romanticized view that I have in my head of you,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like you know a lot about Russia. Like, I feel historically, at least, you have had an interest in Russia, and you know, like, I don't want to say that you're an expert or anything, but I feel like you know...
No, I'm going to say I'm an expert.
Sure, I just don't want to speak too highly before you confirm it.
I'm not a...
But I feel like, no, you know a bit about Russia.
Well, half of my
Check this
mother's side is...
I forget the button.
Oh,
I forgot the
that's
button.
such a sweet mechanic. Oh wait, this game's stupid again.
I forgot the button.
They should have told you the button. Oh, now you're being attacked.
Well, they do actually if you go really close. If you go close enough to actually use the button.
Well, when do you do that?
I was panicking. I'm trying to commend you on how much you know about Russia. Just trying to. It's hard to stab people in the throat when you're laying down praises. You know.
I
Yes,
guess,
you know a lot
yes.
about Russia, so
Well, okay,
you know a lot
so-
about Putin. Because
Well,
how much of this is basically the question I'm asking? How much of this is just Russia's general cultural attitude, and how much of this is Putin is a crazy person? Because I've heard both sides.
So, so the side, my mother's side of my family is Russian.
Oh, actually?
Yes. Sukharov.
Yeah, that sounds pretty Russian.
But my mom is adopted and, was raised by a pair of Kiwis, not the bird, the people from New Zealand. And basically, they were Doukhobors. I don't know if you know anything about Doukhobors.
Oh, I've heard that name, but
they are
not
basically pacifist religious people. So they fled during the... Where the fuck did that guy come from? Anyways, so they fled Russia during the Russian Revolution and came to Canada and settled in the prairies, and they made their way to Alberta, which is where my mum is from originally, and then blah blah blah. Anyways, so I know a bit about Russian culture, a little bit. I'm not claiming that we had borscht or fucking drank vodka all the time, but I know I'm very fascinated with my genealogy, and so I looked up into it a little bit. Anyways, so that's sort of my interest, and then I got into it, and so I do have a kind of a good knowledge of Russia, I'd say generally. And the thing about Russia is that it's really, 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 really tied to the Orthodox religion. Yeah, really tied. They consider themselves heirs to the Crusaders.
Yes, I've heard about this before.
The Orthodox Church is a big fucking power in Russia, and even during the Soviet era, when technically the government was atheist, while the Orthodox Church wasn't exactly welcome, it was still around. There's still people who were kind of religious, even in that atheist government.
Yeah.
So the thing is how Russia operates is that it's basically a nation as an empire. Because Russia is fucking huge. It's the second biggest country in the world.
Wait, it's not the biggest?
No, we're the biggest.
I should probably know that.
You should know that. That's embarrassing.
I thought we were the second biggest to Russia.
No, I believe Canada.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I mean, I certainly am not sure. But.
Because I think it's our Arctic possessions and our territories that give us the
I guess
extra...
we have a ton of islands up there, don't we?
Tons, yeah. I think that's what gives us the...
Are they counting, land... are they counting the sea space?
They're just the boundaries
islands?
Of what Canada claims of ownership.
That I could totally believe.
Yeah, I believe that's what Canada has. It basically has the whole Antarctic.
Yeah, Canada's pretty cool.
Or Arctic, sorry, not the Antarctic. So...
Russia has a bit of it too, though.
A little bit. Well, that's another thing we'll get into, I guess.
Yeah.
But Russia, if you go to the west coast of Russia, well, not the coast, but the west side of Russia is utterly different than the east coast. And the east coast is it's closer to Asiatic, Oriental culture, and more, well, it's close to China at that point. China and Mongolia.
I don't know what's on the east side of Russia. All I know about Russia is
Kamchatka and stuff like that. Have you ever played Risk?
Yes,
Kamchatka is the furthest eastern province. Russia,
yeah, I guess
that connects. It's the Bering Strait divides it from Canada and Alaska.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
So Russia conquered all those places. Russia was a very, very small place that started actually in what is now the Ukraine, in Kiev, and expanded over the centuries through conquest to form Russia. So it took a long time, and it built up an empire to sustain. Its nation is an empire, is what I'm saying, and that's kind of a unique thing that informs the attitude that Russia has about Russians, because they always want to keep the unity of Russia together, because there's a lot of groups like the Ukraine and Belarus and Georgia and all those sort of places that were under the Russian Empire but have since left after the Soviet Union, and a lot of people were really, really against that. Violently against separating, because they view it as the key to holding Russia together. So if you get rid of Georgia, you're starting to like. Then does the eastern provinces leave and stuff like that, and then does Russia fall apart and blah blah blah. It gets very, I don't know, emotional. So, anyways, so the religious connection is what is informing Putin, and the thing is, Putin is a crazy asshole, but he wouldn't be able to do that without the support of Russians. So clearly, Russians are into this shit.
I guess.
Like most people are, like, and he's ex-KGB, right?
Is he actually?
He's he used to be.
Heard that. I wasn't sure how much of that was like.
No, he is
part of the meme.
I believe
a ridiculous comic book.
I believe
figure.
he was either the assistant director or the director of the KGB.
Shit.
He was, or if he wasn't, he was a big player in the KGB. The Russian internal intelligence service.
He knows how to get what he wants.
So basically, that means he's a piece of shit, because the KGB is pretty brutal, to say the least. Or was pretty brutal. Now it doesn't exist, but.
Okay.
So, I guess the thing is like. The Orthodox Church, in no way, is modern. Like the Catholic Church with like this new
something called the Orthodox Church.
Yeah, I guess so. But like the Catholic Church at least has like there is a reformist element, and I'm not an expert in the Orthodox Church, but there doesn't seem to be a huge call for reform, and so a part of that is a huge like anti-homosexual contingent that's really against
most religions.
Yeah, because religion is based off of Bronze Age mythology and morals, which is really what you should base your morals on. People who are afraid of women with periods and like stone
I had a
gay
long
people.
conversation with a Mormon yesterday.
Well, Mormons are the American 19th century Scientologists.
Crazy. Yeah, like I've never had a conversation with one, and they always hang out near Oak Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
This dude was kind of nice, and I didn't really have anything to do, so I was like, sure.
Yeah, they're always at Oak
I want
Ridge.
to talk about. Just tell me. I want to hear something like I want to hear someone straight face to me. Joseph Smith, and he was all about like.
Did he tell you that Joseph Smith was literally incarcerated for counterfeiting and crime?
He did not go there.
Fraud?
He did not go there.
Okay, that's weird. That's a weird thing. And that he was brutally murdered in a jail cell while awaiting trial for rising up in insurrection against the United States government.
No, I didn't know that part.
That's weird that he didn't mention that. Very weird. Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, I'm going to try to do a sort of liberal, open-minded thing here and say, fuck religion. Trying to appeal to everyone here.
Yeah, I think you painted with a wide brush.
I fucking hate it so much. And I used to be religious before.
Oh, I know.
You know what's weird?
Which is why, like,
You know, the people who argue with me the most about defending religion are non-religious people.
Really?
It's really weird.
What kind of arguments?
Well, they say things like, well, I'm not religious, but other people are, and like, oh, you should respect them. Like, but
I will be honest. Like, I am someone who, I'm not religious, and I'm against it, like, strongly in the same ways you are. But
I don't know if you're against it. I'm not trying to be arrogant here, but I don't know if you are as against it as I am.
No. I'm getting to that.
Okay, because I am an anti-theist.
Yeah, I mean, like, for the same reasons. Like, I think religion is dumb, on stage, like, whatever. Like, I think it's stupid, and I think it just sets us back. And yeah, no, I don't like religion. Okay. But at the same time, like, if people were aggressively against religion the way you are, like, I normally would be like, dude, like, whatever. Like, I don't like religion, but if someone wants to believe it, fine, like, whatever. But because you have that history of being more religious than most people, I don't know. Did I miss? I missed. No, there we go. Good.
Yeah. So
yeah, because like you,
I went to Bible college.
That horrible circuit.
I went through Bible college, and I met a lot of great people there who were really nice
I went to Bible
and
elementary school.
Very friendly. Oh, okay.
That was an altar boy.
I was gonna make a joke there about priests,
Yeah,
but that would be
yeah.
inappropriate.
No,
even though
it would be inappropriate. Well, it would be bad
even though they're all
if that actually
filthy
happened, but-
pedophiles. Did that actually?
No, it didn't. Which is why I'm saying.
No, but like did. Okay. No.
No,
Well, not to you, I assume, because you wouldn't be joking about it. But like,
not that I know of. I was like
Who
6
knows?
at the time.
who knows? Who knows?
I don't think all priests are bad people. I wouldn't go that far.
No. One of my friends is actually a Catholic priest now.
Yeah, no. Most of the priests I know actually are great people and
Yeah.
really smart. But yeah,
It's just.
it's not the people.
It's just that. Yeah, I've seen that life, and I'm glad it's not dominant anymore.
Is it not though? I feel like it is. I
No,
feel
not
like
in North
in
America.
western, yeah, I feel on the west coast of North America it isn't. Like basically,
I
that's
don't.
it.
I think most people say they're religious.
I think America is still pretty religious.
Uh,
Most of but Canada, sure. I think there's actually. I think Canada
Okay,
is
well-
maybe like 61% still religious.
I don't think so.
There's
Like,
so many Muslim populations. There's still a strong East Coast Christian population.
okay. Well, the Catholics
the,
in
the rural areas, like there's so much rural areas in like.
Yeah, but dude,
'cause
like,
I came from the interior. And
okay, what
everyone there-
what I'm talking about is like there's no equivalent really of a Christian right. In there are Christian
no.
conservatives who do support
You're
Harper
right.
for no
And
reason.
definitely in our political sphere, like Harper's as conservative as you get, and he's not really like pushing any Christian agendas really.
Well, he kind of is.
Kind of, but not to the like.
Like
He seems to spin them more politically than he does religiously.
You know what I'm going to say? There is a Christian right. It's not as strong as in America.
Yeah.
I knew people when I was religious who voted for Stephen Harper just because he wasn't like a godless liberal. Like I know people who just voted for Harper
that?
because he was conservative. Conservatives are more Christian
That's pretty dumb.
tend to be. So yeah. So basically,
Yeah, so
what,
Russia.
What was I even talking about? Yeah,
We were talking about Russia,
Russia,
and
right.
how
Okay.
the gay thing and religion. Oh no, well, Orthodox.
Yeah, so it's a really just fucked up country because it came out of the Soviet Union reeling, and when a country changes ideology or changes in a big dramatic way, the most important generation is that first generation of leaders, and they didn't have a strong leader to come out of the Soviet Union. They had fucking Boris Yeltsin, who was super corrupt. To be fair, the challenges of emerging out of the Soviet Union are huge. They're massive. Because what happened is, by the end, it was so bad that, like, you have all these oligarchs who are these people who, like, could control, like, these areas of Russia and, like, industries. They could just...
And most of the population was dead.
Well, not by the end of communism.
Well, I guess, well,
In
when
the
did the
90s?
Soviet Union
In 1990?
fall? Was it 1990?
Yep, I think so. 1990, 1991.
Yeah, alright. Well, I've heard that...
It's been a while since World War II.
I've heard that
Yeah.
some cities were still struggling up until, like, the century.
Not from population. I would be surprised if that was
Well,
the case.
yeah,
I could see them struggling from.
I would take
terms
your
of-
word over mine, but I feel like I read recently that some city was still, like, but whatever.
It could be. I mean, they could have a Detroit,
Point
Russia.
being, yeah, coming out of the Soviet era.
Oh yeah, so out of the Soviet era, like
fucking
it's
easy.
just is a mess. Like there's so many generals that still kind of supported the Soviet Union, and you had to get them on their side, and like, and
Started saying
then
that, like, this is why.
and there had never been a strong democratic tradition in Russia.
Yeah.
You know, it went from a czarist empire to a godless communist rule to a democracy that it had never really encountered before ever. You know, so it's like, I mean, how do you defend that? So basically, it was just ripe for someone of power to just take over, some autocrat, and that's what Boris Yeltsin. That's what Vladimir Putin is. He's just another autocrat, and Russia has a long history of autocrats, and they usually don't work out for the best.
But, alright. So,
Um,
he is a corrupt autocrat.
yeah.
The people, because of Russia's history, clinging to Orthodox religions.
Well, and
For the most part.
because he kind of it would be silly to compare him utterly to
I like
Hitler,
that
of
mug.
course.
I like
But
that
like
mug.
other autocrats, why he's successful is that he is able to bring some sense of order. And if you're in a chaotic situation, people go, "Oh my God, you've given us some sense of order. We'll follow you anyway. You seem to be known where you're going."
Yeah.
It's like in the fall of the Roman Republic, Augustus rose up and was like, "There's been a lot of bloodshed. I'll lead you to the future to reunite Rome and the Roman Empire."
Yeah.
And people were all about that.
But so like back to my like original question about like is this a symptom of Putin being crazy or general like the Russian culture? Seems after like that, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's kind of more the Russian culture. Like
I think Russian culture is a big
like sure,
sustainer.
like Putin might do it anyway, but
Yeah.
like it seems like if he wanted to, he wouldn't really be able to. Like it sounds like the Russian people
The Russian people really, really want to give.
anti-gay.
Yeah.
Seems like that's just
I
the
bet
way.
there is a liberal contingent that are for gay marriage and gay culture and community and acceptance, but they are fairly minor and they're more attached to the cities. But plenty of people like Russia is super nationalist and super religious, and
It is very nationalist, yeah.
yeah, like they used to sell T-shirts that were out in the UK that said "Death to non-Russians." You know what I mean? And that's like what T-shirts.
Well, I mean, like Russia's always been like I mean, it's like the well-known like just go-to comic book joke. It's just like the motherland and all that. Like
Yeah.
they're so well known for that.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm just looking at ground textures because they're beautiful. Before we get back into Russia,
Yeah.
I just need to reiterate how
You're just
beautiful this
looking
game
at.
is.
You've been looking at mud for the last 20 minutes.
Not 20 minutes.
It
I'd say
it felt like 20 minutes.
3 or 4. Sorry,
3 or 4,
infatuated with your
20
story about
minutes.
Russia. No, man, like, if you don't play video games, just go look at a moving picture of this game. It's fucking beautiful. Anyway, I will actually continue doing something in this game, but man, it looks pretty. It's an oil painting.
It is.
Um,
I can't deny that it's a beautiful game.
God,
It is
yeah,
a
no,
beautiful
yeah,
game.
no, it's.
But yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of fucked. Like, what? Like, people are like all about boycotting the Olympics and all this stuff, and I almost feel like it might almost be better if, like, just submerged in all that liberal culture would not be. Do you think it would be helpful in the long run?
So, what do you mean?
Well, because there are going to be countries at the Olympics that are much more for gay people than Russia.
So, do you think that would be?
Well, I'm feeling like if
Would that be
all
good
these,
for-
yeah, will that be good? Because I mean, these liberal countries aren't going to stand for Russia arresting.
Well, you might be surprised.
It's going to. I feel like I feel like it would open up avenues of multinational discussion, international discussion between like what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, because once
Well, the
if you're
problem-
forced to stand in Russia and be Russian for the span of the Olympics, like you're going to notice this shit a lot more than we're not paying attention to it, right? Like,
yeah, agreed. But I think the problem is that first of all, gay acceptance is not universal. There's tons of countries that are really anti-gay or just not open to it.
yeah.
Or just like don't necessarily hate them, but don't encourage it or don't really promote it in any way, or they'll allow it to happen, but you know what I mean, they won't support it in any way. So I think actually the vast majority do not accept or are not supportive of gay marriage or gay.
What happened after Rome?
What happened after Rome? Like in human history? Like fucking like.
Yeah, let's just take this back. No, but like
I'm getting a glass of water.
they were so gay.
Well, first of all, Rome wasn't really that gay, and they're very much Most Romans
Really?
are not supportive of gay people.
What, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm less of a Rome person, expert, than I am anything else we've talked about. But I read something somewhere that, like, Nero was unusual because he didn't sleep with boys or something.
No, that would be incorrect.
Maybe it wasn't Nero. Was it? Someone started with a C that wasn't...
Caligula?
Yeah, Caligula. Maybe it was Caligula.
Yeah, well...
I don't know. Someone was on one of the
Okay, so...
because he did sleep with boys.
So... Well, that's because most emperors did...
Didn't they also have the bathhouses and, like, you were telling me last podcast you were talking about, I think it was last podcast, maybe we were just talking about it. About, we were talking about 300 and you were like...
That's Greece, not Rome.
No, I know, but close enough. Like,
no.
Antiquity.
No.
Jesus, antiquity.
Okay, but here's the thing that annoys me, is that you say close enough. That, I mean... America and Canada are close.
I brought up
but
Rome
there is a huge difference.
as just one example of antiquity.
Okay.
It seems that a lot more in antiquity, it was just people didn't give a shit. Like the bathhouse, people fucking in the streets.
I know people didn't fucking.
That was an exaggeration.
Okay,
but
so,
it seemed to be a lot more open in Greece and Rome than it is in any nation today. Like
that's generally true.
Bloodline of
that's generally true, but
proud gay men.
In Rome, it was always considered more of a Greek thing, so already not a good thing. It's like it was kind of the purview of rich people, and like it was okay if you did it, but if you were considered the passive role, the bottom or whatever, that's when people would make fun of you.
Oh, really? So it wasn't. There was still a like.
So if you're like
class dynamic almost.
Like it was still considered pretty. People like there's no anti-homosexual things, but it was kind of like considered not really ideal, you know. And in Athens, it was like, which is considered a gay like haven. There was still plenty of people who were against.
Sure. I mean, in any stage, like I don't think there's ever been a stage in human history where some culture is just like totally unanimously like. There's always people that are going to hate gay. Like unfortunately, or at least for the time being, human history up to this point, there's always been people who are just like not going to be okay with that, even if it's a pretty gay open society. I mean, Canada is pretty gay open, but or like I don't know. There's European countries that are probably more, but I'm sure they still have people that hate gay people there.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, but it's like, what happened to that? I guess Rome got destroyed, and the people that took it over weren't gay happy.
Well, right? I mean, I guess the church, the Catholic Church rose it. Like
the Ottoman Empire.
Rome didn't get destroyed. It got
no. I know the Roman Empire.
But when the Roman Empire fell, basically what took its place was the Catholic Church.
Were very.
So we're talking about the Ottomans from?
I don't know why I said Ottoman. I've been looking for it's not Ottoman. I said Byzantine.
Are you
first.
looking at an Ottoman right now, like the furniture?
No, no.
I don't know why you talk about the Ottomans.
Yeah, no. Who are the freaking? What's the name of the people that sacked Rome?
The Gauls.
Is there a different name for them?
The Gauls.
Or
the Goths.
The Goths, yes, there you go. That's what I was looking for in my head.
Yeah, that's who you were saying.
I
the
think
Goths?
so. That sounds closer to.
What?
Well, certainly not the Ottomans.
Was it the Visigoths or the Ostrogoths?
I don't know. The Goths sounds right. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I can't tell if you're pulling my history leg or not. It's a really nicely made bed. I don't know.
It's not. It doesn't look very comfortable.
No, it doesn't. But it's like this tight. It looks cozy, snug.
It's like a hotel thing, which is when they tuck it in because they don't want human beings to sleep in them.
Man, I tuck in my sheets when I'm feeling fancy.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's so tight and cozy.
Are you a psychopath?
That's a psychopath.
That's what a psychopath would do. Do you have cold showers as well?
No, like when you get your sheets out of the dryer.
Do you have cold showers?
No, I don't have cold. I'm not a crazy person.
But you do tuck in your sheets tightly.
No, like not all the time. I tuck in my sheets like once every couple months.
Once every couple months? Okay, like killing. Like you do that once every couple months.
Yeah, like killing.
Do you kill like...
I do it after a kill.
Do you kill like men, women, children, young boys specifically?
Russians.
Young Young Russians, old Russians, Russians in general, Russian men, Russian women.
It's just if I see them drinking vodka.
What happens if you accidentally kill a Georgian? Do you feel bad?
Not particularly. I mean,
You shouldn't, because Stalin was a Georgian.
well, I don't think that. No.
No, don't kill Georgians, and don't kill people, Darren, please.
All right. No.
I know you like Dishonored, but please don't kill people.
I'll stop.
You silent protagonist.
I wish I knew a silent protagonist in real life.
I don't think, I think there'll be a lot of athletes who come out and against it, but I think...
I was going to say, this is not the time for an athlete to come out. I don't think any
but
athlete's going to come out.
I think, we're not come out, but be sympathetic to.
Oh, be
someone
sympathetic.
fly a rainbow flag or something like that.
I hope so. I mean, Jesus.
I hope so too, but I think...
Make it hard for Russia right now.
I think they will... I think the governments of the respective nations will discourage people doing that.
You think so?
Because Russia is
well,
a big
maybe
power, man.
because just a safety of like, hey man, like look,
and
you do that,
and they say
you don't
they will
stand
arrest
responsible.
you. Like the Russians say they will arrest you, and then that's
they already have. They arrested 2 terrorists.
But that's
you mean athletes,
so when the Olympics start, they will say we will arrest these people.
Fucked. Like,
so then it becomes a diplomatic issue, and it's like, oh god,
it's not even gay people; it's people who are like, spreading the gay propaganda, right? Like it's people who, like, if you, I don't know, if you had like a rainbow or if you were just speaking good about gay people, or if you were pro-gay, like it, because I think I did read the story, but I can't remember. I think the 2 tourists that just got arrested weren't gay. I think they were just like holding. I don't know. Maybe they weren't gay because I think actually they were holding hands. Now that I think about it. But definitely in the thing I read, it was like, no, if you're just like, if you're a gay sympathizer, you can still go in jail.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
But the thing is like, because there's very tense relations with Russia right now, I think a lot of governments will say, okay,
that is the thing.
Because like America, especially, they have a big level of hostility over Syria right now, because both sides have decided to arm the other side, which is really good, and will ensure that Syria remains peaceful for centuries. So that's good, guys.
Not happy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's the whole other conversation,
but yeah.
So Russia hates gay people.
Yeah,
they hate it for reasons we've just discussed. I feel like you would agree, there are worse people in the world than gay people. Are there groups of people that Russia prosecutes that aren't gay? Like I feel like we don't do what Russia does to gay people to like Satanists. Like, and I'm not even saying Satanists are bad people, but
right, like perception wise.
Yeah, like there are groups that have a worse public perception than gay people that like are not like.
No one's killed or prosecuted the Westboro Baptist Church.
Right? Like, but gay people, that's what we're gonna, like...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It seems like...
Well, I don't know.
I feel like gay is like just a...
Well, that's the thing.
Like they don't even really care that you're gay. It's just a political thing at this point.
Well, it is really tied
and
to the religious thing.
Yeah.
Because there's actually no real legitimate, non-religious reason to dislike gay people. I've searched for it in my mind.
Barely a religious reason.
Well, it's because in the religion it's outlawed, and therefore...
But, like, even that passage is so...
if a man lies with another man as a woman, it is considered abomination. You should be stoned to death. It's fairly obvious.
The Bible's so interpretive, and so many people have... Look, I know. I'm not going to do that because
I almost had a fucking heart attack of rage. I almost lost my shit there.
I was... Look, okay, I'm kind of doing that because, like... Well, whatever. I'm not gonna. It's a different conversation. I agree with you. I was joking. I was completely joking.
Okay. I'm not saying you can't talk. I just like if that's how you feel.
No, I don't feel that way.
Okay, because I'd unleash a storm.
But I have heard a lot of academic.
I've heard that, but it's the dumbest argument I've ever fucking heard in my
every Bible
life.
Interpretation argument is dumb, and that's what I was getting at. Like, if you don't like something in the Bible, it's written in such a way that you can make an argument that it's not what it is. Like,
well, it's more that people go, well, it was written a long time ago, or that it's one of God's messages, and they interpret it that way. How else do you interpret that? What's the mystical other way you interpret stone men who sleep with men as a woman?
Yeah.
Stone men who fuck men.
No, that one's pretry clear.
That's fair. Like,
pretty clear.
Please tell me the alternate ways you can take that, and no one has ever provided that.
No, what was the one, like the word lie was, like, because there's so much metaphor in the Bible. Like, I don't know if it's just that.
So then do you kill a man who hugs with hugs another?
No, lie. I think that one was lie meant literally lie, like
as in to not tell the truth.
Yeah, because so many words.
But that's weird because they already have a provision,
right? And it just really
says
makes sense.
do not lie.
I'm not saying that's just one I've heard.
But that's the thing. You have to get more desperate.
There are some weird and interesting as someone who really likes like language, like from a linguistic standpoint. There are some really cool archaic uses of words in the Bible. Like one of the ones I was just reading recently was thigh. Like a lot of times they say, like, you know, if you're he tooketh the man's thigh or whatever, and his thigh spilleth all over the ground.
Yeah,
like thigh is a euphemism for just organs. Yeah, which makes no sense, but is so
sometimes
weird.
Can be.
That's so cool. Well. Like like thigh is just like your innards, your organs, your things. It's like, and the thigh of his being spill, and it's like, what? It's cool. Like I'm not saying what, like that's dumb. Like I find that really fascinating. And there's actually I want to read the Bible.
No, you don't. It's
no,
so
do I not?
Because it's so boring.
Things like all these things like that I read. I'm like, that's like just as like a language, because I really like Old English, and I feel like just as a language, a piece of. I also really love biblical fiction. Okay, biblical mythology is.
That's the thing. Okay, so the
really cool.
Some of the stories are interesting, but the thing you have to remember is that the Bible was written by priests, not by storytellers. So
written by apostles, right?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of them may have been, and that's the New Testament.
Yeah.
But most of it.
Well, New Testament is the one I'd be more interested in, because the Old Testament's basically like just genealogies.
No. There's plenty of... Yeah, there are a lot of genealogies, but there's a lot of, like, cutting prostitutes in half and really setting fire to entire cities.
That all sounds... where do the Leviathans and the...
That's in...
Dragon Garyon and stuff like that.
Well, that's in the Apocrypha, which is not considered technically part of the Bible.
I thought that was all like Revelation stuff.
Okay, some of that is, I guess. But that's... Yeah, considered symbolic.
Because that's the stuff I've always liked. It's like all kinds of religious mythology is so cool to me.
Yeah, it's better to read a book about it, not the actual. Because
did you ever read like Paradise Lost? Like,
yeah,
I love
that's the
that. It is so good, and Dante's Inferno as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's written by poets and artists who take that stuff and work with it. But the actual book itself is fairly boring.
Yeah, is it?
Because it's not written.
I do still feel like it's something I should read though, just to know about it more. No, you don't know that.
No, it's extremely boring.
I don't know. I read a lot of boring books. We had a conversation about Lord of the Rings last time, and you said, "No, you shouldn't read it because it's too boring." But I love that book for all the boring parts.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about Lord of the Rings.
It's pretty damn good.
I like the idea of Lord of the Rings, and I've read them, but they were a chore, and I'm glad. I'm glad it's over.
I'm not gonna take that away from you.
Good,
but I think they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
He turns 11-1. Come on.
Sorry.
He turns 11-1. Bilbo.
He turns 11-1.
Yeah. 11-1. Ripe old age. 111.
Yeah, that's in the Bible and all that shit as well.
Yeah.
People live 600 years.
Yeah, people live really long.
Oh, it was interpreted at different times. I've heard things where people are like, oh, well, They had a different counting system. What, they confused 600 with like 70? Like, what fucking counting system is this? Fucking idiots counting system?
And this is the last podcast we ever do because we've offended everyone.
All the religious people that I know that listen to this podcast.
But you were saying you fight a lot with the people who aren't even religious.
Yeah,
So-
I can name them right now.
Just fucking do it.
Okay, there's 2 fights I've had from people in like
I mean, if you
Langara.
want to, I wouldn't.
I think we've resolved it.
Sure, I'm not going to stop you.
One was with Kristen.
Saying this is not me. This is Kyle.
You pussy, you're just backing out.
No, I'll probably support your position. I'm just saying.
No, I just 2 arguments I had was
All right. Well,
one was with Kristen and one was with Kayla, and I argued. And the thing is people get very taken aback and get really.
so far, Angie, Kristen, and Kayla.
I didn't say Angie.
No, but they all have to listen to the podcast.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay, yeah. So I've name checked Angie Holobovich.
Yeah,
I've
there it
probably
is.
massacred your last name, and I
Shit.
apologize because I believe her last name was Polish, and I'm a Polophile, which means I like Polish things.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then Kristen and Kayla. But we resolved it after in the time. Were you not there at the LSU? Yes,
Most likely.
yes, you were. I remember that
we were
because
there a lot. So refresh me on which particular time.
Okay,
this was.
I will refresh you. It was it was me, you, and Brian, and then
Sounds about right.
yeah, the regulars, and Kristen came along at some point. It was last semester, and we ended up talking about religion, and then you guys left, and then came back, and me and Kristen had sort of come to the tail end of our conversation.
Okay, so we missed the...
And in that point, and then we kind of had made up because I get very I like to say passionate, but other people like to say psychotic. Yeah, and
both those words completely applicable.
And see, this is the thing which I remember is because I think at some point I offended Kristen or was being very, very passionate.
Sounds entirely possible.
And then but then I made up. I apologized about that,
Yeah,
and
right,
then
for
we
that.
were talking about that, and then you guys were like, "Oh, you get very passionate about your arguments." And I just want to say to anyone listening, I will talk about religion whenever, but just keep in mind that I will bring all the guns to the gun show.
This is true about any topic. Niall.
But
It's not a bad thing.
But particularly about religion. But what I'll say is, like, if you are religious and whatever, we can totally talk about anything else.
Don't
And
take it personally.
I'm quite happy to talk about it, anything else. And I'm quite happy to have a civil conversation about religion. But I will warn people that, like, it's something that is I have a very, very, very strong opinion about. So I can't apologize for being that passionate, I guess. Like, there's a certain point where I go, well, I can't recant my position because that's who I am. Yeah. And my experience, like I went through Bible college. I wanted to be a theologian. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a monk. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that was the first career choice I wanted to be, was a monk. You know. So I was quite religious, and now I'm not. So clearly something has happened in that meantime. So yeah, Russians. What was I talking about?
Can't remember.
I'm now lost in watching this game.
It is that good.
No, it's not that good. I'm just seeing all the things I hate about it. Just kidding.
This is bringing me down.
Just kidding.
I'm actually, thinking of putting in an Oblivion or a Skyrim, something a bit more mindless.
Yeah.
Something a bit more open where you can just run around and do dumb shit. Don't
Yeah,
pay
that might be
attention
better.
to. Because it's like asking me to pick. This game it's a great game. Don't listen to Niall, but you gotta think.
listen
You gotta
to me.
use. I don't know what points to invest in because I'm thinking about Russia.
Obviously, Blink.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
only
obviously
one.
Blink. But there's just I don't want to even deal with a single menu right now. I want to run around and fight mammoths, or maybe you do. I don't know. Do you want to play?
Yeah, okay.
What? Ooh. I do like whiskey. You could give me a whiskey any day.
We're at 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Solid. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Remove that disk. We're going to delete the install data right now to switch. That's how we switch games over here.
Right.
We delete the install data.
To delete everything to play another game.
Installation. Yep. Delete.
That's really weird.
I'm absolutely baffled as to what is on this device. I'm wondering if, because it's connected wirelessly to the media servers here.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering if that has, but no, that shouldn't. They're not burned to the HDD, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Want to play Oblivion? Or you want to play Skyrim?
Play Skyrim.
Yeah, alright. Put that in there. I was kind of thinking of playing some Oblivion because it's been a long time, but I do.
Too bad.
Love that game, but no, go right ahead.
You never stop me.
And you should play BioShock Infinite.
I want to. I don't have the money.
Well, if you have, you don't have a PS3, because I was like, you can take my copy, like, but you don't have a PS3. You should play it before you ever go on the internet again, because they just announced the DLC, and the concept of the DLC alone is a huge spoiler.
Somebody already kind of ruined the ending to that game, anyways. When I was playing Team Fortress.
Because it has, I don't like. Brian hates the end of that game. Most people, and I'm in that, but like I love that game.
See, I'd like to say first of all that maybe I am passionate in my arguments, but I would like to believe that Brian is as well. I'm not the only one.
We're all three of us are.
Okay, good. Because you guys were laying into me about how.
About how passionate you get?
Yeah.
Well, I think just because we had come in when you were at the tail end of a passionate argument. And so the first thing that popped into our heads.
That's when you used to calm me down and say, you're actually. That's when you're actually a good person, Niall, and we'll just scale it down, and then later on tell you how much of an asshole you are when you argue.
I don't think you're an asshole when you argue.
That's basically what you guys say.
Oh well, that's not what I meant.
You're monsters.
I don't think you're an asshole.
Thanks, guy.
I don't do podcasts with assholes. It's just it would be.
I think I have to accept my destiny as an asshole, though. I think I have to.
Yeah, asshole might have been too sympathetic a word to use on you. Actually,
sympathetic.
No,
it's too nice a word.
Now that I think
cunt
about
is the word.
Yeah, you're not a cunt, but you're an asshole.
Okay, I'll take that. I have to get used to that. It's just
whatever.
Yeah. The Phil Fish of this podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you've already offended basically everyone. Russians.
I have.
Russians, religious people of all stripes.
I like Russians.
you said, yeah, but you see, this is why you're an asshole. It's because you get to just rip into all these people, but you have like the perfect, but I know a black person for each one. Mm-hmm. Like you have like, but I went to Bible college for...
so therefore I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
My mom is Russian.
And my entire,
Right, that's why you're an asshole. Because, if someone is like, fuck you, Niall, for talking about, it's like, but he knows a black person.
No, the difference is if you were to make a comment about black people, and then say, all of my friends were black.
I guess, yeah, sure.
That's instead of one.
Right, well,
and I should also say, when I lived in Seattle for fucking 3 years, all of my friends were black. Not that I've said anything about black people.
Yeah, do you want to say something about black people, though?
If they're black Russians. Which is a great drink. Actually, I don't even like that.
What's a black Russian?
I think it's just... I don't even know, actually.
You don't know? It's just not good? White Russian's gross, so...
I forget. It's a cocktail of some kind with vodka and... I don't know, caviar, probably molasses.
Oh.
I don't fucking know.
Oh, that does sound so Russian. Like vodka and borscht.
Oh, now he's being offensive to Russians. How many Russians do you know?
There's a Russian that works in this office.
What's his name?
Yeah. Dmitry.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It is.
They just made up, yeah.
Just make that
I just
up.
call him fucking Stalin already. God.
His name's Dmitri.
And anyways, ignorant. Stalin was Georgian.
He really likes F1 racing, and him and my dad
Typical.
bet. Oh, well, actually, no. They don't bet on the racing. Though.
Does he like shooting capitalists?
They bet on hockey, and if they bet a bottle of vodka on it all the time. His name's fucking Dmitri, man. I'm not making this shit up.
Sure.
Russia is a living stereotype.
Start.
He drinks vodka, and his name is Dmitri.
How are you not the asshole saying that they're a living stereotype? I think there's subtleties and.
Because I know a black person. He's a Russian named Dmitri.
Okay, what I'll say is that Russians love the shit out of Russia. They love Russia.
Yeah, no,
that's why
very nationalistic.
That's why they're able to survive the invasion of Hitler and of Napoleon, because when they really shouldn't have, where
they clamp down and just like you're not.
Well,
has anyone ever taken Russia? Like, has it always been in the same lineage of control? I know Russia's pretty big, and it hasn't always been Russia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So no one has ever successfully invaded Russia.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I would say. No, I'm not going to say that. But what I am going to say is that on the offense, Russia is not very good. Defensively, they're very good. Anytime Russia tends to go outside of Russia to invade, they don't do as well.
I'm trying to think. Besides, like, Georgia's the only thing. When actually has Russia gone to war outside their borders? Obviously they have. Like, I know they've done like peace. Yeah, I know they've done
invaded Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did invade Afghanistan.
And left.
Yep, they totally did invade Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I guess those are two modern examples. What, like, historically have they done?
Well, yeah. I mean, all of Georgia and Belarus and Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan. What else? When they went in to invade. Oh yeah, when they fought Napoleon outside of Russia, and they went to invade Italy, because that's where Napoleon was at the time.
Russia went to invade Italy.
Yeah, that's because he was there.
They died of heat.
I don't think so, but they're not very good. Not very good out there.
They're really good on their own map.
Yeah, once they leave, because the Russian the top leadership is usually shit. There are some very good generals who are from Russia, but there's not. It's the bureaucracy. Before it was all the czars, so it was all nobles, and they didn't promote anyone who was actually good. Mm. And then when it was the Soviets, it was all people who were loyal to the party, not actually. Now there were, like, Zhukov was really good, and who else? Chernov and Brusilev in the First World War. But yeah, it's amazing that Russia survived World War II at all.
It is,
and came out as a victor. Because when they were invaded by Germany, they had shot most of their officer corps and promoted all these idiots and disbanded all these things and claimed that they were a huge powerhouse, but were actually quite shit.
Yeah.
And it was only really the defense of the average Russian infantryman who allowed Russia to survive, to get people actually thinking about and fighting properly. If they had given up, as easily as American and British soldiers did, then it would have been a very different story.
Yeah. This is clearly the Russian edition of this podcast, because we call it like the Comrade cast or something.
Well, I did start off by saying welcome, comrades.
Oh, did you?
And I've also I started.
I mean,
the music I add to this is the Soviet national anthem.
Yeah, no.
And it's going to end with the Hell March from Red Alert.
You are going to end with the
fucking deal with it.
Right. Cool. No, people should know it's the Hell March, because
they do know that.
Now they do. If you don't know it's the Hell March, it's a bad song.
I can't believe that you defend Banjo-Kazooie and then you fucking say the Red Alert music is shit. I don't know what universe...
I'm not going to say the Red Alert music is
I don't know what
I've
universe you live in.
Look, last time I played that game, I was like 5 years old. I can't remember the music to that game. Play me the Hell March after...
You don't like the
20
fucking
years.
Marching and you hear Hitler in the background?
It just, I don't know, it just sounded like a weird alternative grunge song from the 90s that just sounded like bad. Didn't sound good. Anyway.
I don't even know who you are.
I don't know either. We're playing Unpatched Skyrim. This is going to be load times.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Anyway, there's more things to talk about with Russia. Like, Russia's a it's a big country, never-ending stories coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a new movie coming out about the Battle of Stalingrad.
Where about 1.5 million people died.
At the end of last podcast, me and Niall retired to what I will call his study. And...
My bedroom?
Don't ruin the...
Oh, so then it sounds like we've lied together.
Dude, it's an audio podcast. You can tell them whatever.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, I just want to preface this that we didn't have sex.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I said study, not bedroom.
Well, yeah, I realized when I said bedroom it sounded really gay. And that's fine. But I didn't sleep with you.
Yeah, no, there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
I didn't sleep with you.
He was telling me about... I am admittedly ignorant, but have an interest in... Well, I've always had an interest in World War II, just never gotten around to spending a lot of time learning about it. And lately... the Russian angle of it, and we got to talking about the Battle of Stalingrad and a bunch of things. Well, I guess we started talking about what actually got me into that and what started that. Before we get to the movie, we should quickly touch on, I was reading an article about, there's a game called Company of Heroes 2 that is a real-time strategy game where you control, various armies in World War II, but it focuses on the Eastern Front, and a lot of it takes place in Russia, and there was a lot of criticism coming out of Russia about the way it portrays Russia in that game. Yeah. And I guess there's, unbeknownst to me and probably most people who don't really take time to look into this stuff, a lot of things we associate with Russia in World War II are kind of exaggerated stereotypes. There's a bit of truth in all of it, but and a lot of it comes from, what's the name of that movie now? I keep forgetting his name.
Enemy at the Gates.
Enemy at the Gates.
Starring Jude Law.
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor is not in it at all. It's Jude Law and fucking Ed...
Norton?
No. What is his name?
Helms? Probably not.
No. Oh, God damn it.
Harris?
Yes.
Actually?
Yes.
I was just going through the Ed actors.
He's the German sniper. It's the two snipers facing each other.
Yeah, he would fit right in.
He's really good.
He looks like that kind of person. Anyway.
Are you saying he looks like a Nazi?
No, I'm not saying he just looks hard-bitten.
Oh.
But yeah, so I'm sure some of you have seen Enemy at the Gates. I never have, but
it's a great film. You should watch it.
Ewan McGregor's a great actor, so it's probably a great film. But
Jude Law is in it.
So apparently a lot of these Russian stereotypes come out of this movie, and
so there's things where it portrays it that there was only some troops got rifles and some troops got bullets.
Yeah, and this is the beginning and end of my knowledge of the Russian attitude as combatants in the war.
Right.
If you've ever played Call of Duty 1, my favorite scene in that game, and one of the most famous scenes, is you play as a Russian soldier who doesn't get a weapon. You're just running through a battlefield. And that just cemented the idea of Russia's role in World War II to me. It was just these crazy people.
Yeah, now...
Whether they actually...
There's I don't believe any evidence of that ever occurred. As far as I'm aware, that's a total exaggeration. I think it might have happened in World War One. Because World War One was a fucking nightmare for Russia.
I was just going to say someone... Yeah, it was you that was talking about, yes, that might have happened in World War One.
So far as... World War Two, no.
There's stuff like that. There was the shooting.
Oh, that they would shoot their own troops who retreated.
Shooting deserters or shooting. Not really deserters, but retreaters.
Yeah.
And there was the very hardline stance against retreating at all, in general.
Yeah.
Just and you were Niall was talking about how. the idea behind that is flawed in principle because, there are times in war where retreating is a
very good thing.
Yeah, it's a viable thing to win. Retreating simply is just literally physically retreating on the battlefield. It doesn't necessarily mean
that you're fleeing.
It's a strategic move.
Yeah.
And there's a very hardline stance, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Order 2, or is that the one?
I think it's Standing Order 22. Which was that. So Standing Order means that it always applies in every field, and that means never retreat. That was Stalin issued. I think it's Order 22. Standing Order 22, never retreat. Which is a horrendous idea, clearly made by someone who has not been in the military.
But so this one has a lot more
so that
evidence to it than the...
Yes. Now they definitely did. So in the course of... Stalingrad was in 1942, October, I think, to February 1943. And in that time, they shot about 35,000 of their own troops at some point, through the months.
It's a lot. It's a big number.
Yeah, that's fucking...
It's a big
number. That's fairly big.
That's a war's worth.
It's actually about a division, I think, a division's worth of people who were shot by their own troops.
That's fucked.
By their own, who were people called commissars, who were political officers who were basically warrior priests of communism. Yeah. They held the party line, but a lot of times what they would do is they wouldn't actually shoot them. They would round them up and put them in punishment battalions, and they would give them the worst, shittiest attacks to do. Oftentimes.
What do you name your character now?
I'm trying to find the fucking shift so I can make it...
L2. Or R2, sorry.
R2. Oh my god.
You can name him Dmitry, because I see you're a Khajiit.
Oh yeah.
Which is basically the Russians of... the closest thing to Russians in the Elder Scrolls.
I'm going to name him...
You're not going to give him a Russian name for this Russian podcast?
I am. I'm going to call him Zhukov, who is the most famous Russian...
Sure.
I guess.
I guess. I mean, it doesn't ring as Russian as something like Mikhail. It does have an H in there. After a consonant.
Zhukov is as fucking Russian as it gets, man.
You can't roll the vowel, though. You can't do Mikhail. You can't do the Sukhov.
Look at Zhukov right now.
You look at a picture of his face?
No. Look. Go on your phone and look up Zhukov.
Why?
I want you to read his fucking name out to me. Okay?
All right. Fine.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. We all know Kayla Isamura. It won't be bad if we mention her name on this podcast.
I already have.
That's right, you have.
Yeah.
In the time we've been talking, Kayla Isamura texted me wanting to know where the brick house is.
It's on...
I mean, I know where it is. I just wanted to tell the world that she wanted to know.
Oh, okay. Well,
also,
it's on the Facebook group.
Yeah, it is.
Posted it, so...
Brick house, great little place.
Does she know how to use technology?
Yeah, Kayla.
Because she was also giving me flack about where's the podcast, as if I hadn't put it up on the status.
Yeah, Kayla.
13 times.
You're part of the group with her. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
That was actually really rude of me. Cut that out. Zhukov. Alright.
I want you to look up his fucking name and tell me how goddamn Russian this guy is.
I bet his full name is pretty Russian.
I want you to read it out.
Is it Georgy Zhukov? Georgy Zhukov? Alright. When it loads, I'll let you know. This name uses... There's a note about the name before the Wikipedia article even starts. Mm-hmm. This name uses Eastern/Southern Slavic naming customs. The patronymic is Konstantinovich, and the family name is Zhukov. Alright. It's Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov. That's not that bad.
That's as fucking Russian as it gets.
No,
man.
yeah, it's pretty goddamn Russian.
Yeah. So Zhukov is
constant, like it's
Konstantinovich. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov.
yes, in your awful Russian accent.
Was it awful? I don't know. Still,
Okay, it's not.
I've never really done.
It's not awful, but it's not great.
Yeah, no,
I'm not claiming.
Not
I'm not claiming that I can do better.
No, it's not great.
But
yeah, Konstantinovich. That's quite the handle. I've never seen this guy.
dude,
He looks pretty fierce.
yeah, you should look at it.
Holy shit.
Look at the Google
He looks
images.
like an actor.
Look at the images of him.
Like that's a scene out of a movie, right?
Yeah,
there. Look at that.
there's one painting of him where you
Holy
see
shit.
all his medals, and it's literally his entire uniform. The front of it is just covered in medals.
Shit.
Look it up. It's incredible. Georgy Zhukov is like probably one of the most famous Russians.
He like.
And like
He is
anyone
the
who
dictionary
knows,
definition of a general. Like that is. He looks so much like a general.
yeah,
He's got a chin. He's got that fierce forehead. He always looks like he's just giving a speech.
Yeah.
Like a really passionate, motivated speech. But it's like also really like down to earth, and he's throwing in a lot of motherfuckers in there.
yeah.
Holy shit, young Georgy Zhukov was pretty hilarious looking there.
How dare you? Yeah, he's a cavalry officer in
He was.
the
7th Cavalry Division of Samara.
Samara.
39th Buzaluk Cavalry Regiment. Yeah, 7th Cavalry Division Samara.
Like that must be CI.
Nope, S-A, it's spelt like the Mass Effect 2 character. S-A-M-A-R-A.
Oh, okay.
At the end of May 1923, Zhukov became the commander to the 39th Cavalry Regiment. May 1930, he became the commander of the 2nd Cavalry Brigade of the 7th Cavalry Division. And then, in 1931, he was appointed... This guy just had so many amazing jobs in the military. He was appointed the Assistant Inspector of Cavalry of the Red Army. I love their army's called the Red Army. That just sounds...
Yeah. Well, so anyway, Zhukov was a big fucking deal, and Zhukov was actually he basically saved the Red Army from being annihilated.
Khalkhin Gol.
Sorry?
Khalkhin Gol? The Battle of Khalkhin Gol? Do you know what this is? They seem to be emphasizing it
Oh,
all over this article.
That sounds really familiar, but I can't, off the top of my head, I can't say. Anyway, so yeah, he basically restructured the Russian army into an actual fighting force that wasn't...
The Red Army?
Yes, the Red Army, sorry, not the Russian army.
So sorry, just as a quick aside, it's not still the Red Army. The Red Army was just the Soviet army, right? Basically.
Sorry?
Red Army was just the Soviet army.
Yeah,
Okay.
so red is in communism, as in socialism. Yeah, so it's now just the Russian army.
Yeah, okay. Carry on.
Yeah, so, yeah, the Russians.
Operation Mars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kurt von Tippelskirch.
Yeah,
That's a great name.
it's a very good name.
Oh, so many good Russian names in here.
I know, man.
Russian names are like some of the best.
Mm-hmm.
What was Operation? I'm not just going to ask, but there's so many World War II things in here that are just like reminding me of words I kind of know that I could just ask about, but
Right.
we'd be here all night.
Words.
World War II is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Can you recommend a good book?
I can recommend Stalingrad by Anthony Bourgeois.
Yeah.
It's a great book.
Would you recommend the movie Stalingrad? About to hit theaters?
It looks crazy. It looked like in a bad way.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think I'll see it because I just need to know what is... Because, like, I feel like with subject matter, what it is, and with the way it is shot, it's incredibly hard to make a tasteful, good trailer and communicate what it's trying to communicate. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and see it. Basically, there's this new movie coming out, and it is Russian made, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
So it is from the mother country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically made by the Russian version of Zack Snyder.
Okay. Yeah. I
Zack
guess so.
Snydersky, as I'll call him. It's it's got like really hyper saturated colors, slow motion action scenes, hyper exaggerated violence.
Yeah.
It's it looks visually cool if you like Zack Snyder's style.
As a visual thing, it looks incredible.
Yeah, like most Zack Snyder movies. Yeah, it's visually like it could be.
In
cool.
terms of story, characters,
the weird
things that actually kind of matter.
It's a Zack Snyder take on one of the bloodiest battles of human history that didn't.
Yeah,
that happened long enough ago that it's just in that weird period where did it happen long enough ago that we can do these weird comic book retellings, or is it still it's weird? Like obviously there have been actual comic books that have done retellings of World War II in way more crazier ways, but it's a bit different when it's a movie, and it is kind of weird. Like I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's part of a kind of tradition of Russian cinema now, is that it's kind of super exaggerated and crazy.
Really?
And there's been a whole wave of super patriotic movies. There was one about the resistance of the Russians against the Polish in the 16th century, which is really popular. Now this will, because the Putin, again, piece of shit, has decided, it's trying to pass a law where it make it illegal to say anything bad about the Red Army.
Yeah, I was reading an article about that.
Say anything bad about World War II, like a World War II.
Yeah.
This fucking asshole won't get on my way, sorry.
Classic torture as a system.
I fucking hate that asshole. Anyways,
I've never played as a Kaji. Your hands look really creepy. You look like a werewolf.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's cool. Kaji's scum.
What?
They're ruining Skyrim.
You filthy racist.
Getting their skooma in here.
Yeah.
Corrupting the youth.
Yeah, I love it.
I hide my children's faces when the caravans roll by.
You racist.
I am not a racist and I hate racism, but I love fantasy racism.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty, you play Dragon Age Origins?
Yeah.
The elf racism in that game is second to none.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Stuff like that.
Oh, just like the city elves live in the slums. There's a little bit of that in Skyrim.
Yeah.
The gray quarter. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I wish the world was so good that the only times we interacted with shit like that was in fantasy, but unfortunately, the fantasy mirrors our horrible reality.
Oh, yes, it's so true.
But yeah.
I don't know what that noise was, but you should look up, and everyone at home should now look up the Motherland Calls as a statue. It's a huge statue that the Russians built to commemorate.
Motherland's been calling me this whole I'm getting this fake sense of Russian pride.
You should, because
at this point, I just want to sing that national anthem, which is so good.
I will defend the Russian infantryman, the Russian soldier in World War II was a fucking hero. They did a lot of savage shit. I'm not gonna lie, but generally
as infantrymen do.
In the defense of their country, they were fucking incredible. There's stories of there's stories of people who had their arms blown off, who had grenades thrown at them, who would clench grenades in their teeth and jump at the people who had thrown it.
Fucking crazy.
And things if they would just charge through tank divisions and just they trained their dogs to carry bombs to jump underneath tanks.
Yeah, I read about that.
And
tank dogs.
And they Stalingrad, they fought building to building. Do you know what I mean? Where we are right now, next door is where Germans are. And
do you know what I mean? They fought across buildings.
That fucking close at points, and they had huge sniper battles and sniper duels.
That seems like it's very unusual compared to most battles, and I feel like most battles in World War II, there was a lot of urban combat, but not that.
Not as extreme. No.
Yeah, I feel like most urban destruction in World War II was from bombing runs and stuff, not
Yeah.
Besides, like, in France a little bit, but...
Besides, the only other time would be Berlin, 1945.
I guess, yeah.
Which actually, the writer who wrote Stalingrad, Anthony Bourgeois, he wrote an amazing book called Berlin, 1945, which is the last year, but basically the last couple of months of Berlin.
Yeah.
As in World War II, and it's incredible. And, like, the thing is like...
I really should have brought World War.
Stalingrad was so brutal that... basically, the Russians felt they deserved to literally and figuratively rape Germany. Like, when the Red Army descended upon Berlin, so the Russians in the east and the US and British in the west were heading towards Berlin in 1944, 1945. And there's a certain point where there's a certain point when the Western powers stopped before Berlin and the Russians got in there first. And there's a whole kind of theory and debate as to whether or not the Western powers allowed, because they could never do something so horrific, but there's a debate as if they knew the Russians would and let them do it. But the Russians, when they descended, there's something like at least 200,000 rape cases, something like that. Like they just any woman, young or old, they just and they just shot
and
men.
It's a cultural attitude, like we just feel like we deserve this.
Because when the Germans invaded, they fucking annihilated so many Russian villages and they wanted to eliminate the culture and people of more than any other war that Hitler engaged in, more than any other power. He wanted to radically change Russia because he felt that it was too. He felt the Slavs as a people were too racially impure, and that they had too many Jews in it. So, not to be fair, not that the Russians really loved their Jewish population, but they didn't hate them as much. But they did do a lot of programs. Anyways, so they unleashed untold devastation onto the Russians, and the Russians in kind. It was like the two worst regimes in human history collided together in a race war, and a race and ideology war, and just committed the most horrendous atrocities to each other. Like they would just.
That's very similar to the conflict between like Japan and China at that time.
Yeah, it would be very similar actually. Yeah, but like, they would just. Nazi propaganda had made the Russian people seem so barbaric that it's like you're doing them a favor by shooting them.
Right.
Like they're just like rats, like fucking inhuman monsters, who had been controlled by Bolshevism, like communism. So brutalizing them was like good for them. So just the horrific things they would do, just massacring civilians. I'm just going to look at the stats right now and just kind of throw out some stats that I found. And the stats I read, by the way, are the most conservative.
Because they're just like the confirmed
accounts. Yeah. Actually, now my internet has failed.
Well, did you get Wi-Fi here?
No.
Can you 3G on that thing, or do you want to?
No, I can't on this. Like, I just physically can't.
Oh, yeah, you physically can't.
Yeah. So there was at least 200,000 Russian civilians who were massacred.
A lot.
Yeah. And there's over almost 1.5 million casualties at Stalingrad, and Russia lost 20 million people, I believe. Soldiers, airmen, sailors. and I mean, to say nothing of the civilians in general, like, you know what I mean, like, so they'd witnessed the most devastating destruction of their homeland, and you know, like, I mean, seriously, like, if you can look up the Motherland Calls, because you can see how much emotion they put into the statue and how much passion they have for Russia and how much they cared about the legacy of that battle, how much it changed everything. And like when Russians broke into Hitler's underground bunker where he had killed himself, Russians were weeping, like openly weeping with like joy, because the madness was over, you know. And when in the first couple months when Russia was being invaded, they surrounded this place called Brest-Litovsk, which is really famous in World War I because that's where Russia surrendered to the Germans in 1917. So, but this time they defended it, and this one Russian division was surrounded, completely surrounded, cut off by the Germans, and they were starved to death. And well, some of them were. And you know, there's a famous wall that they actually took away, where this one Russian soldier wrote, "I am dying, but I do not surrender. Farewell, farewell to the motherland." And he signed the date when he died, and they took that piece of wall, and it's now in, I think, in Moscow as a part of the museum. They call, in Russia, they don't call it World War II. They call it the Great Patriotic War. The first Patriotic War was against Napoleon. Napoleon invaded in 1812. It's like, I can't. It's hard to even describe how insanely brutal the battle was. Like, because think about this: in about 5 months, 1.5 million people died.
That is insane.
Like, I mean, like 5 months, and just the day-to-day madness of like, and not only were you fighting this horrendous invader.
I didn't know it was that long of a conflict either.
Stalingrad?
5 months?
5 months to.
That's long.
Yeah, for.
I was thinking like.
Although Leningrad was besieged and never. It was never. There's no actual combat. They were all starved to death, though. About a couple million for sure. A couple million people starved to death in Leningrad.
Jesus, yeah. What?
It's actually about a year, almost a year, 300 days, I think. Because do you know who Sergio Leone is?
Yeah, the filmmaker.
Yeah, the filmmaker who did like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He did all those Clint Eastwood films. He was going to do a film before he died called 300 Days in Leningrad that was going to star Robert De Niro as an American journalist who stays in Leningrad during the war.
Wow, sounds like a really good movie.
Yeah, he just unfortunately died before it happened. But it would have been amazing to see. But yeah, I mean, if Canada was invaded, do you think we would have that same defense? Like, I don't think so, man.
No, it's kind of an unfair comparison, though, because there's so much more cultural unification in Russia.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I'm
no.
not saying that to blame Canada. I'm just saying, like,
no, not at all.
Yeah, if America went for Ottawa and took Ottawa, do you think
absolutely fucked?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Completely.
Whereas, like,
be interesting how that play out. Like, I wonder what we would do and what would happen. Because I wonder how much actual combat there would be.
Do you love Canada enough that you would burn an entire province so an invader couldn't have it?
I hope. Well,
America.
There are very few things I ever am willing to do that for, and that might sound weak, but I mean that in a very specific way. Like,
that's a tall order, man. I'm not saying I'm willing to.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that
that's fucking crazy.
Like, you should be passionate about, and there's things like, but we should never, like, I don't know, like, even...
They set
I've always had
like,
a problem. Well, I mean, I'm not the only one for sure, but like I really like it as an academic thing, and like looking at the history of cultures and of people. I really, really don't like nationalism and like this feeling of like patriotism to your country and stuff. I get it, but I really. It's not something I always am very careful about. Like I love Canada, but I'm very careful about like I love Canada, but I wouldn't go very far for Canada. And it's not because I live in Canada. I wouldn't want anyone in any country to think that way. I think it's a really like primitive way of thinking. Like I think that's how the world worked before and how war, like I just think that's dumb and doesn't have any rational.
Well, I think it's kind of easy to say that now.
Oh, sure.
Because
that's what I'm saying.
Because you form nations with that thinking. Like Italy, after Rome fell, for centuries was not unified under one Italian ruler. It was dominated by the French in the West and the Spanish at some point, and various different Italian. So at one point in the 19th century, they'd actually get a resistance movement go, and and the people who rose up as patriots fucking hated the French. They would destroy French things. They would and the thing is like that seems barbaric now, but how else? You have to have that passion to drive to create. Later on, you go, yeah, sorry guys, that was crazy. Well, but you have to have that drive. Like if America, like,
I guess I don't mean like don't have a sense of like camaraderie between like your countrymen and don't have this sense.
No, but that's not there has to be an element of hate in that regard.
I guess I just don't.
And I think the thing is it's easy to say now.
That's primitive though. Isn't that's such a bad like. That's such a team-oriented way of looking at the world. Like,
but then if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't.
Blue. I hate you because we don't go together. That's fucking dumb.
Well, okay, but if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have the modern nations of Germany and Italy.
Oh, okay. I'm willing to make that trade.
I guess
whatever would be in their place might be better, might be worse. I don't know. Like,
well, no, because someone else dominates you. The French run your government. People who aren't your people, who don't have an interest in you, are running your affairs.
I am willing to admit that this might just be a philosophical concept that could never be reality because human nature, sure, but I myself don't ever want to just be. I don't know. It grosses me out. I don't like that. I don't like nationalism at that level of like I don't want to use the word irrational because that trivializes people that do have very strong beliefs, but like it boils down the roots of conflicts to very simple terms that I think do trivialize the conflict. Like if you're fighting for Mother Russia simply because Mother Russia, I think it's a bad reason to fight for Mother Russia.
But let's say your culture and way of life would be destroyed if you didn't.
Sure, obviously in the real world there are more things at stake, but yeah, I don't know. Sure. Realistically, you're not just losing,
It's not simply.
You're not just switching.
Like in the face of Nazism, like if it was the Americans, it would be a little different because I don't think they would like. If they banned hockey or something, then it would be like the most brutal war in human history. As every man would die screaming Wayne Gretzky's name. But when the Nazis invaded, they were trying to not just like, because ordinarily in invasion you just kind of like go, all right, so we killed a lot of people. Sorry about that. We changed the guy who used to be in charge. We're in charge now. You just pay us money instead of that guy. And most people will bitch and complain, but in time they'll go, whatever. You're just a different asshole that, Yeah. But when they want to change your way of life and change your culture
well, that's what I'm saying. If those are the stakes, then fuck.
And then that's how. you know.
I guess
but the thing is as
at
well,
that
it's like
scale-
it's weird that you don't want to defend sovereignty. I find that weird. Like sovereignty is a really big deal. Like the right for a nation to decide its own affairs. So if America did invade, I
would fight for that. Sure. I'm not saying like.
But you just said like if Ottawa's invaded, you said before I think you just give up. Like Ottawa's.
I kind of went on a different thought before.
Okay,
okay. So if Ottawa wasn't
okay, I'm gonna set up the example here.
Okay.
America has invaded and taken over. They've completely taken over Ontario and Quebec. They're gone, and they're moving west now.
So if all we know over here on the West Coast is that America invaded, we don't really know why. They're just like doing this brazen. Just like,
let's go real sci-fi. Well, not even that sci-fi. But let's say they get more nationalistic. America gets more, and they want to revive Manifest Destiny. They're like, remember back in 1812? Well, we passed the anniversary, but we're going to bring it up now.
Yeah.
we said we're going to take it. We need the oil. We need the water. We need
every future post-apocalyptic story, we've annexed you.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do it now.
Well, I don't understand why.
I love that.
Seriously, every time.
Well, I mean, because I don't know.
But okay, so they've done that.
Okay, yeah. So they're doing that.
They're not like just
they're
like
trying to.
It's not Barack Obama now. It's like General Washington Jefferson III.
Yeah.
You know, who's like fucking hardcore American nationalist, and it's like, you know, America belongs.
Zachary Comstock.
Like North America belongs to the United States.
Yeah.
All of it. So they invade. They take.
Okay, I like this. This is a
Ottawa is now on fire.
I appreciate this villain.
Yeah. The fleur-de-lis that flies over Quebec is burning. Fucking statue of Rocket Richard is being toppled down.
Commander Shepard, we need you.
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky has been shot.
No!
Yeah, they fucking shot Wayne Gretzky live.
Oh,
streamed it.
Jesus.
What happens? What do you do?
Terrorists. Okay, no, so yeah. I would, well, me personally, I would pee myself and shit myself. But how would I feel? Yes, I would want to do all I can for my country because our way of life is being. It's what you said.
Would you stick a grenade in your teeth and leap at an American
honestly
attacker?
Without actually needing to face that situation?
That's so unfair to say. Like no one can properly answer that question.
Well, but no, even boiling that down to like the reasonable extreme of like would I even enter combat? Like that's impossible to say without even like facing the like it would be no up until the point where I don't know that actually happens and I'm actually confronted with like I don't know would I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, in a situation like that, yes, I would. I mean, I guess what I was saying before is like I don't want nationalism to be the basis of conflict. I want you shouldn't fight for your country. You should fight against injustice. Mm-hmm. If America invades Canada for that reason, it has nothing to do necessarily with preserving Canada. It has everything to do with the fact that this is fucking crazy, you sociopaths. Like, no, this is just wrong. Like. Right. You're killing people and just burning down cities for horrible, it's just bad.
But
like,
but the thing is,
most good.
Sometimes people will relent because it's like, well, they're very strong and we're very weak. That's the problem. So they'll go, well, they'll stop doing that if we just give in, if we just surrender.
Yeah, I don't.
So that's the thing. Like at some point.
Oh, so you're saying so nationalism. Would I fight beyond surrender? Like would I not?
Yeah, because nationalism.
Would I fight to the death, the bitter end.
Yeah, nationalism is emotional.
Yeah. I mean, again, can't really say that unless I was actually faced with the stakes. But sitting here on this comfortable couch,
right.
Fuck it, fine, come America, sit on your comfortable couch. Like, yeah, no, I mean, it's really hard to say as
it is.
a Canadian and not a Russian. Whatever, as someone who lives in a shittier place, like they think about this stuff a lot more. There's no international conflict that enters a lot of Canadians' lives. Like our conflict is like the bus is late, and like we live as close to utopia as planet Earth has gone. Really, like
That's a very bold statement.
I think that's pretty we're pretty
bold.
far from utopia, but I'd say we're the closest that we've ever gotten. We live in a pretty goddamn good society.
Besides the fact that no one actually makes money in this country and it's just destined to
look
explode.
Where we are now. We're sitting on the couch. We're playing an interactive fantasy country.
Yeah,
it's all pretty good shit.
I'm not saying that there's no good things in Canada. I'm saying
there is no external conflict to our country right now.
Except that we're being taken over by Americans.
Culturally.
Oh, and economically and diplomatically.
There's
almost 2/3
Canada still has plenty of.
Can I just say, almost 2/3 of Canadian companies are actually owned by Americans, and the other are mostly crown corporations, so owned by the government.
Yeah, we know it now. America doesn't have caramel, so suck on that. How do they get it in there? Well, the Americans don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I guess
all
right.
our culture.
Yeah. It annoys me that hockey is on the $5 bill so much.
Why? I have no problem with that. I'm not even a hockey fan.
I'm not. It's just
whatever. I like watching a good game of hockey, but
it's just
why? That's it's a defining part of Canada.
Because they don't have football on the fucking $20 bill in America. They have presidents.
Okay, so but I would
and
agree.
Founders of their nation.
We have all of that too.
Wait, you have the Queen on the $20 bill.
Yeah,
You shouldn't even have a queen. It's ridiculous.
Well, you're a crazy person.
Apparently.
Yeah. Look.
Apparently,
hockey,
I'm
Well, okay. So here you are. Oh, America. Dude, we're too much like America, and now you just want our money to just be like America's. Oh, America doesn't have football, so we can't have hockey.
So now, who's being nationalist? Now you hate America?
Well, you're just being anti-nationalist. You're a traitor.
No, I'm not.
You just.
First of all,
I just want to be like America.
First of all,
They don't have football. We can't have Canada, or we can't have hockey.
What is this argument? No, what I'm saying.
They have their presidents. We need only our presidents.
No, what I'm saying is that you should put stuff on there that more shows, actual.
There's a bunch of science on our bills and stuff.
Okay, on some of them, but it's just it shouldn't even be on there. It's it's a sport. And I get that sport is important, but
sport is important. I want to live in a world where the worst thing is sports. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad that my country,
can only ever talk about hockey.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Can never talk about the economy or the natives.
The Shire.
Or and anytime anyone talks about the natives, it's in super racist tones.
Okay, no.
It's a situation never resolved, but let's talk about hockey again and again and again and again. It's the only thing we talk about. It's always in the films. It's push Canadian content. But it's always
hate how
it's always a shitty backwards town of fucking New Brunswick.
Yeah, I do hate how whenever there's a piece of Canadian cinema, it's all just a really bad hockey movie.
Yeah.
Hockey movies need to die a death.
Yes. And the whole Canadian content shit, it's let people just make stuff who are Canadians, and then just over time, Canadian culture will emerge stronger.
Yeah. Honestly, that does happen though. So much of American cinema is Canadian right now. A lot of their actors.
Oh yeah, because they
Canadians,
leave because there's no future.
Musicians.
Yeah.
I would no. I totally disagree. I look at it the other way. I look at Canadians are influencing the culture of Americans.
No, they do it as Americans. They don't. No one looks at Jim Carrey and goes, "Oh, there's a big Canadian influence there," right? Dude, come on. What influences?
Well, we're so similar. Could you notice the difference between
There's four cities in America that like hockey. It's Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia.
You're a traitor, and I'm going to ask you to move down to Florida.
I've been to Florida.
Yeah, I bet you have. I bet you loved it. I bet you're I can't wait to move here.
I went to fucking Disney World. Of course I loved it.
Yeah, well, you would like Disney World more than Disneyland.
I just never went because I was in England at the time. It was just too far.
At the time, when Disneyland's not around anymore? What do you mean at the time?
No. I was saying, I lived in England, and I went on vacation at Disney World. I think it's it's at least an 11-hour flight from England
England,
to Florida.
Yeah.
So from England to fucking California would be even longer. For like
I wonder how much longer.
For like a 9-year-old.
I wonder how long it is to fly across the continental United States, like straight across.
5 hours.
You think it's 5 hours? You think it's that long?
Something like that. Yeah. Here to Toronto, it's about the same.
Yeah, actually, I guess you're right.
3, 4, 5 hours.
Because here to Disneyland is not long.
Yeah, because that's in California. Disney World and Disneyland are two different places.
I'm aware.
Are you? Because this conversation is longer than it should be.
Oh, I hate you. Yeah, I was going somewhere with that, but Disneyland's great. Is where I was going with that. And you should go to Disneyland because it's better than Disney World. I've never been to Disney World. I've always wanted to go. Until I go, I will be bitter, and my garrison will remain strong. That Disneyland is the greatest. It has.
What does it have?
It's all the old shit, and it also has California Adventure,
Right.
which Disney World does not have.
Okay.
That's got all the good stuff. All the good stuff.
Sounds pretty good.
Like
From what you've described.
yeah, well, it's got like 7.
It's
new
got old shit.
4 new lands.
California
It's got like
Adventure.
4 new lands. It's got the pier, the boardwalk.
It's got a pier.
There's the roller coaster with the loop. You go on a loop.
There's a single loop.
A single loop. Well, there's no loops in any Disneyland roller coasters, or Disney World roller coasters. California's screaming. I watched a man vomit after getting off that roller coaster. It was incredible.
Why are you watching him?
He was just in front of me in the
weird.
lineup.
That's really
like,
weird. You just
going
watching it?
in the procession.
You went out of the way. You went out of your way to look at this man vomit.
It was.
You followed him.
It was a childhood experience. It was like, what's
you-
coming out of his body?
You touched his legs.
Has
as
the
he was
devil
vomiting.
touched this man? Is this an exorcism I'm watching?
You're from the 17th century. And you're thinking as a child.
Yeah. There's Cars Land. It's a whole land that's basically
Cars.
Autopia.
It's a car land?
Yeah, there's a
So
new,
it's like, oh, you mean the
There's a-
parking lot?
there's a new land.
Oh!
Is it? Are you making your own audience?
No, that's
You're
the
hooting?
audience in the background.
You're hooting yourself?
That's, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. We all have to do it. It's a simulated audience here.
We should do a live
This is
episode.
not a live studio
We
audience.
should do a
It's
live
simulated.
studio audience and everyone would just leave within 20 minutes.
It probably. I wouldn't expect them to stay.
Warren will stay. Warren will listen to all this. Thank you, Warren, for being a goddamn trooper and a great guy.
And yeah,
That's a big shout out to Warren J.
MVP podcast.
I say Warren J because that's his Facebook name, right? Because it's actually
I
Warren
don't know.
Janet.
Don't even ask me. I don't know.
It's not a silent J, is it? It's a
Maybe you think it's Warren Yay?
no. I think it's Janet,
'Cause-
right? He said Janet, but he goes by Jane because people have a
I
problem.
don't know.
I
I've never
apologize,
heard him
Warren.
utter his last name.
I apologize, Warren, because I know what it feels like to have your name mispronounced. Both names.
Both names. Who mispronounces Shannon? That's a common.
It's happened.
What,
It's happened.
what is the alternate? I feel like
Shanahan?
the alternate name would be more complicated.
Shanahan or Shaughnessy?
Shanahan?
I got
Okay, so there's
O'Shaughnessy
reading
once.
it wrong. O'Shaughnessy?
Because that's technically
What?
That's technically in the genealogy of my clan. O'Shaughnessy is like the overarching clan, and it's split into two: the Shanahans and the Shamans.
I've never seen someone misread a name by adding a letter in front and
Oh, no, it's-
punctuation.
No, this guy was an asshole though because he was like
Who puts in punctuation with their mind?
an asshole.
Yeah, an asshole.
He was an Irish nationalist. Because my name is the Protestant version of
Neil.
Shanahan and O'Shaughnessy.
Did you also say Niall? The Protestant version of
Yeah,
Neil?
both my first and last name are the
You're just so
Protestant.
Protestant.
I was.
Yeah, you were. Do your parents hate you?
No. So why would they hate me?
Because you're not Protestant anymore.
Oh no! They're not like Orangemen. They're not like fucking.
Yes, the Orangeman.
Okay, so the Orangemen.
Get your fingers dirty with that Cheetos dust of religion.
The Orangemen are like a Protestant super order. in
Yeah, no, I
Ireland.
actually did know what they were.
Okay, well, you just said it in a way to
I realize
suggest-
now you're explaining because
Now you're being all fucking smarmy with me, saying, "Oh, I actually did know." And even though I was claiming things about Cheetos and Protestants, how dare you?
I thought after
If
all
you're
this-
so clever, what was it named after? Who was it named after?
it was named after Oliver Cromwell. I don't know.
No. William of Orange.
I was trying to think of anyone I knew.
Where is Orange?
Is a place?
Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah. Where is William of Orange from?
Well, Eric
big man?
Is he close to where... Well, I'm going to say, okay, so Eric the Red, William the Orange. So they're probably close.
Two totally.
Well, they're probably close on the color wheel of Europe.
Yeah.
So they're probably nearby. Is there there's that famous painting, The Boy in Blue, right? You know that
You're
one?
just naming people with colors now.
Well, because so that's from France.
Is it?
Eric the Red is a Viking. So it's somewhere between France and Norway would be...
Technically accurate.
I am fucking Dan Brown.
Well, no, that's a different color.
There you go. Didn't even see that was a bonus color for y'all.
Dan Brown is from America anyways. But, no, he's Orange, Netherlands. The House of Orange. Orange Nassau.
House of Orange.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like
Netherlands. The national
House of Orange.
National
House
Royal.
Orange.
It's the house that is still in charge of rules the Netherlands. House Orange.
House Orange.
Their colors are orange. That's why their football/soccer uniforms are orange, and they have Orange Day.
Yeah,
and so
Orange Day. What do you do on Orange Day?
Sorry.
What do you do on Orange Day? You drink Manna Mango Kool-Aid?
Well, it's like their national day. I don't know what they do.
Yeah. Okay.
Eat pancakes and.
It has nothing to do with orange, the fruit. Unaffiliated with the tropical fruit.
I believe so. That came from their exploration.
Really?
Around the world. Yeah,
they just named it after themselves. Like, yeah, fuck, I discovered that fruit. It's the fulmen. They named the whole color after themselves too.
Yeah, why is that surprising?
By extension.
Why is that surprising? They used to name whole nations after, like Rupert's Land is named after Prince Rupert.
It's not just that they named the fruit.
Virginia is named after Queen Elizabeth I.
The fruit.
Maryland is named after Mary I.
Isn't egregious. It's the color. They claimed part of the visible light spectrum.
Yeah.
That's pretty... No other fucking house has that.
Yeah. But why wouldn't they, though?
Although maybe...
Because what other fruit is orange? What other things are like orange?
You could argue violet, because I'm sure that came from a name, because there's the flower, so I'm sure that the flower was probably named after a person, so by extension...
I don't know if that's accurate.
I don't know. No,
I can't confirm nor deny.
Look, Dan Brown knows, and I am Dan Brown, so let me do the sleuthing. You comment.
You're Dan Brown?
Sleuthing. Well, yeah, I figured out where the House of Orange was by my amazing...
Dan Brown is a terrible writer.
I've never read any of his books, so I'm not going to comment on Dan Brown. All I know is he's the world's greatest detective, and so am I. So I wrote those books.
I think that's a perfect place to end this podcast.
Yeah, I think, it's... Where are we at? Like, I'm going to say like 3.5. No, not even.
2.5?
No, 3:12. 10 after.
Jesus.
No, it's a good...
Who listen will listen to this?
So people were listening to our podcast wrong last time. I don't know if people just don't know how to listen to podcasts, but you don't just sit down and like watch it like a show. You can listen to this over the span of a week. Put it on your iPod.
Yeah.
Listen to it in the car, on the bus.
Yeah, do that.
Turn it off. Come back to it later.
Yeah.
Like, let this is 3 hours. Like, let it take your week. Let it simmer.
Yeah.
Like a thick honey.
Yeah. What I find is always good to do is put the podcast on and then maybe play a video game or maybe read a book or It's just radio, something in the background. And if something piques your interest, you go, oh,
I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I mean, like they get me through this dark life.
It's ending on a very depressing note, which is appropriate for the Russian podcast.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's
unofficially.
That's going to about do it. So
yeah. So, anyways, if you made it to the end, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you can. We go visit our requisitions office, collect your reward.
Yeah. It's an orange.
Yeah, I think it's
named after
it's an orange,
Dutch royal family.
It's an orange or a vodka, and it's alternating, and you don't get to pick.
There's no choice. Yeah.
So sorry if you come on a vodka. Just gonna get that.
So what did you say? You come on a vodka?
And that's the podcast. Thanks for listening.
I'm Niall Shannon. This has been
This has been